tell the truth and shame the devil. I love being black. All right, all right, all right, people. Come on in and talk to me. Come and talk to me. We're having a general conversation today, open discussion. We're going wherever the spirit takes us. That's where we're going today. We gonna do what God tells us to do. I tell you, we're gonna do whatever God tells us to do. All right. All right, I'm gonna bring that third person in. No video feed. Okay, all right. Live, uncut, unedited. Come on in. Let me listen. Before we get started today, people, I need y'all to check in where y'all calling from. I need y'all to check in where you South Side of Chicago, wherever, whatever. All right. All right, let's see. Come on in, people. I'm ready for you guys to talk. It's live, uncut, unedited. All right. We got 30 people in here. I need y'all to share. We're gonna have a great conversation early today. Definitely gonna have one later on in the night, but come on in, come on in. Let me see if I can read some of these comments. All right, let's see. I don't see no comments. Okay. Hey, Peggy Gay, Cassandra. What up, brother Eddie? Dallas, Texas, in the house. Cassandra, Indiana in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Come on in. We're gonna talk, people. Listen, it's so much. As I was told, we do a lot of barking. We do a lot of barking, people. And when we do a lot of barking, folks don't we do a lot of barking. We do a lot of barking. Can you hear me, caller? I mean, I'm talking my guest. My guest, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me
Yeah,
clearly?
yeah, loud and clear. Okay, I just got you. Okay. Did you want me to bring you in on both of them just in case, or you got to put one of them on mute? Now I can bring you.
Yeah, it's getting a little too technical on this side. I'm gonna spend the
Okay,
day with you to figure that out. So I'm gonna stick to the one that's working right now.
okay, okay. All right. All right. Come on in, people. Come on in. Check in where you calling from. We got Dallas, Texas in the house. We got Bloomington in the house. What's up, Quincy Green? What's up, Quincy? All right. What else we got? Tam, what's up? Hey. All right. Who's this? Ricky Moore. All right. What's up? Everyone stay safe out there. The next few days is 13, what, 0.3 inches of snow out here. Oh, Mendota, Illinois. Okay. New York in the house. All right. All right. Y'all, man, I got people calling in from all over. All right. Julie Simmons. What pronounced that right? Hey, Selena Johnson. How you doing? All right. Nisha Thomas Taylor. Hey, hey. Y'all tap in where y'all from, South Side, North Side, wherever you're from. I want to hear from you guys. We're gonna have a great discussion today, and I guarantee you, it's the truth. Now, if you can't handle the truth, you need to find another page because we're gonna talk about the truth today. I got it. I got a dear sister on here, and we both agree that we're gonna let the cat out the bag. As my partner Vera Giles Noah said, we're gonna let the cat out the bag. We're gonna say some things that normally we wouldn't say in public. But y'all know y'all used to me saying that anyway. You know, y'all know how I get down. All right, I'm doing all right. Yvonne Manley, Hammond, Indiana. All right. All right. Well, well, what we gonna get started, Miss D? I'm gonna call you Miss D.
Okay, okay,
Miss
I'll
D.
take that.
Okay, Miss D, what you want to talk about now? You got an older guy here. I'm 55 years old, be 56 this year, and I believe you under 40, which I know
Yes.
you're under 40. So what's going on? What's going on out in this world? What's going on? Let's talk. We could talk about men, women, politics, whatever you want to talk about. I don't care. Let's talk.
You
Let's
know,
talk.
I'd like to kind of like keep talking a little bit more about what initiated us to get on here and kind of go live, and that's just the dialect between just black men and women, and just having the conversation. Because I know that from your generation as black men, there's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of lack of responsibility. Um, on that side that I can't necessarily speak to because I'm a woman and I try my best to stay in a woman's place when it comes to that conversation. You and I know that
Mhm.
I can talk about my experiences with men, but I try my best not to talk about what it is to be a man, even though I grew up in a two-parent household and watched my father marry my mother. But there are still some lessons and all of that as a young Black female, that I experienced, learned, and still came out of it with top-notch love for Black men and women on both sides. The difference is the conversation sometimes in between. It's
Okay, you breaking up now.
a little hard
You breaking up, Miss
because
D?
then for women, that means I
Uh,
have to hold us accountable and not necessarily feel attacked.
okay. Now you breaking up a little bit. You sound like a robot a little bit. Uh, let me ask you a couple of quick questions
Oh,
then, if I may
see,
ask. So you say you get that other one, get that other device, work it. Hey, get the other device working. Yeah, we knew it was gonna happen. As soon as we get good in this, yeah, get that other device working. Because people, this is going to be a great conversation, and it's a conversation that needs to be had between men and women, and we need that. We need it.
can you
We
hear me
need it.
better now?
Yeah, it is.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes, I can. Yes, I can.
I
Much
didn't
better, much
move.
better. You got to stand still
I
now.
stayed in the same
You didn't
spot at
move.
that.
Okay.
I didn't move.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
So can you
All
hear me
right.
now?
Now,
Where did I leave off at? I'm
yeah,
sorry. I apologize, guys.
you sound like a robot. So
Oh
let's
my
go.
goodness, the
Let's go back
devil is
to
a lie.
okay. I know. Let's go back to you was raised in a two parent household, and you'll never disrespect a man, and you know your place. Now let's go to that. I think that's yeah.
Well, I hope I don't still sound like a robot to everybody.
No, you
But
good.
I'm getting
I'm gonna
on.
let you know.
Okay, I'm getting on my tablet too, so I may hang up on the call if it goes through better on
Okay,
there for you. Okay,
okay, but it's
so
going
I'm
perfect now.
trying to
Don't
get to.
leave well enough alone now. All right. Come on.
Okay, so if you can hear me a little bit better now,
Yeah.
basically it's been hard for women in my position to voice ourselves because either we're overspoken or underspoken in a lot of these conversations. And the reason that happens is because the fear of being kind of that chosen girl label. Because I do identify with a lot of what men say sometimes when it comes to women, but I also know that it's not my place to be of judgment to Black men just to talk about my experiences with them. Because that's for a Black man to hold other Black men accountable. I think when the conversation comes to me about being a better woman, it's just that me having that dialect with other women. Yes, in that conversation with women, we could talk about all of the faults of our Black men and what they've done wrong and how we got to identify and take more accountability on the choices we decide to make when picking them. But
Okay.
that same conversation,
Let me stop you. Let me stop you real quick. What are some of the things that women be saying about Black men? I just want to know. I'm not trying to make this into a gender war, but what are some of the things if you want to share with us?
you know, to be true, uh, because when I say this, it still circles back to the Black woman,
Okay.
and let me start by saying that because a lot of our men now or young boys are raised by so many women, with the mindset that they can be both the man and the woman. This is not the same way from our parents and grandparents in the world that was afforded to them to be able to raise these Black men that are able to take care of whole household. Um, I think now we have women that have been given a better life than what their parents have been given. So men are raised more emotional, and it's okay to be in tune with your emotions as a Black man, but it's detrimental when we have emotional men throughout the world. And I think that that's a part of what leads to that part of the conversation that you and I talk about. That the issue for Black women is that we have to now do it all ourselves. We have to make the logical decisions, and that's not by nature of a woman. The nature of a woman is to be a nurturer of a man in this universe and to nurture our children in a better environment, but it's for our men to raise our children and to lead households. And we've gotten so far away from that, part of tradition. That's not to say that we haven't evolved in this new world that women can come to the table. Absolutely. But when I come to the table, when I sit in my place, it's exactly that, my place as the woman in that household. But when the man comes to take his place, so shall he have a place to lead that household, because that's
Mhm.
the man I chose to lead.
Right,
And if
right,
women are not prepared for that,
right.
that's another conversation that we all need to sit down and have, because right now it's becoming detrimental to the future.
Okay. So you think the state of the black woman is looking bad right now for getting together, being husband and wife and all that? Because remember earlier we talked about uh how men have bitter baby mamas and what caused
Yes.
all that. We talk about that a little bit too as well too.
We talked about accountability for
Mm.
women and responsibility for men.
Mhm.
And that's an equal take on this conversation, because me myself, not having children, loving black men, appreciating black men my entire life, having an amazing relationship with my father, also healing generational curses with my mother, um, with all of the hurt and pain that I've experienced from black men, I would absolutely have a right to speak ill on them, but I choose not to, because of my father and the love I have for him and the respect I have for the black men in my life. But that can also be said on the other side of the aisle. But the reason I don't say it is because there's an accountability for myself to the choices I decided to make and the men I decided to choose. Because there were signs, and I'm sure on both sides, and in some cases there weren't. But that doesn't mean I hold the many to the fault of a few. And that's the conversation that you and I consistently have, is holding the many women to the faults of the few, because there are women who have put in the work to heal, to be great women, to be nurturers, to be led in a great household, but there are not a lot of men who can lead. And that's a conversation that a lot of black men run from other black men, not just from women. But
Mhm.
what does it take to be a black man and lead a household now? That's a conversation, a dialect that men need to continuously have and show and be examples for, because I can't be that as a black woman. The only thing that I can do is be a better black woman to other black women, so that men can now say, okay, look, there is one, there is many, there are others. But this whole slashing of both sides, it's not going to get us anywhere, because then what's your plan after we've torn each other down? What's the plan?
Mm.
Okay, women, we won. We bankrolling on men. We're the most educated. We on top of the world. But who do we procreate with in this world? Men. So let's have the dialect necessary and let's heal.
Okay. Now, do you agree with me on this? Do you believe that this system that we're currently living in, that it promotes the woman over the black man?
Absolutely. And that doesn't. So let me say this. When we have these conversations, for time, is there an emotional response for women? I want to say this before I respond. Women, listen. Listen to understand me versus listening to react to me. Absolutely, there's a system in place for this. And it's been in place since slavery, because the moment that they can control our mind, they can control our actions. So the moment they decided to take the power from the black man out of the household and redirect it to the woman unhealthily, because that's the way it was directed. It wasn't given to black women for empowerment, to uplift the black man, which is our role, so that they can re-lead our households the way that we known them to do. Instead, a little bit of ego got into that, a little bit of bitterness got into that, and a little bit of power got into that, and it took over the mindsets, and it started to take over the household of women, to the point that we got to, I don't need a man for nothing. I absolutely do. I absolutely do. And I make really good money. I take really good care of myself, but I absolutely know at the end of the day, I need a man, and a man needs a woman to nurture that family. I'm not here to dog out my women, because rape, molestation, ridicule, black men downing us to other race. I can't say race. I'm trying to say other ethnicities. Us being told we're less than because I'm dark skinned, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm pretty for a dark skinned girl. All of those things go into the subconscious of a black woman. All of those things go into the nature and the behavior of this new black woman that we see. Those men watching us at 15 and 16 walking down the street from high school. Ooh, I can't wait. I can just imagine how bad you gonna be when you 22. How are you even looking at me like that and you 40?
Mm-hmm.
Those are necessary conversations that need to take place in order for it to be a vulnerable enough space for black women to say, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it needs to be a space for black men who have chosen wrong on the woman's side to be able to say, look, black women, I'm sorry too, because y'all know y'all got brothers who out here who ain't nothing. And you couldn't pay them to be no better. The responsibility is on black men to hold those men responsible and leave them out to dry and stop hanging with dead ends on both ends. We need to stop being deadbeats on both sides popular.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question. We talked earlier today, and you were saying about, I guess you gave one of your experiences, how different men will approach you, and you know how men would stare. Oh, you think you too good for us because you don't want no kid. I mean, it's something in fact that we did talk about. You were saying
Yes.
how, yeah.
So
Remind me. Go ahead.
I hear a lot of men, we talk about sometimes we wake up on the internet and man, this is not me bashing y'all either. I need y'all to listen to just hear the experience of a black woman who loves y'all. Um, Sometimes I wake up every single day, every post is about how black men hate black women and how we no good and how we're under the sun. We'll take this from a black woman from inception, has been inappropriately touched, commented on, degraded, told because I was smart, I need to dumb myself down. I needed to be more feminine. I needed to act a certain way. I needed to dress a certain way. I needed to be all of these things. And then at the same time, 15, 16, years old being told by 40 and 50-year-old about what they wanted to do to me when I was of age. And then I saw other women who may not have had their father in their lives take those as compliments and become those women that they were described as 15 and 16. And then now they're being discussed as whores and all of these other names and labels. But this is what you glorified when they were 15 and 14 to groom them to be that fat, fresh ass and vagina you wanted them to be in their early 20s. So they took your advice and they ran with it. And now they're the hoes that got to be suffered and talked about and used as bad examples every single day. It's not fair. There is a side to women that we have to continue to take punches. I have to continue to hear about how bad we are as black women. And I get on here every day and I love black men. And I never disrespect y'all. And can't nobody put me in the room to do it to y'all. You guys are gods to me. But it is very disheartening. It is very discouraging to get on here every single day and to think that the worst thing created to man was the woman who gives birth to black men. It does not feel good. It is hard. And I still, you know me, Martin. You know I come in every room and I love black men and I never disrespect y'all. I carry y'all with pride on my shoulder. And it has been very disappointing in this lifetime to see black men experience women like me and still in the same breath disrespect and disregard and degrade us publicly.
You finna make me cry. I feel so bad. And when we had this conversation earlier, people, and I was like, you know what? Let's go live. Let's talk about it. And she made me look at it another way. And because I'm guilty of a lot of things that she said, such as dogging black women out, y'all, they can't get along. I'm guilty of it. I'm not gonna sit up here and hypocrite. And I love women. Everybody know I love women. I love black women. I love my sisters over everybody. But sister, you're right. You're right. And see, that's why we have to have open dialogue like this so we can see each other's side instead of going at each other's juggler. And that's what we've been doing on the social media. You see so many videos about black women, so many videos about black men, us going against each other. Period. But hold on, sis, I got a caller. Let's see what this caller have to say.
Okay.
2742 caller. Go ahead.
I
Caller.
agree with yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I agree with everything she stated. I think that the discussions about us with each other, black men and black women, is things we see on site. That's not us as a whole. When you hear black women say bad things about black men, it's a lot of beautiful black men that take care of their family, raising their kids. They're not robbing shit. They're not doing none of that. But what people do is they pick the environment they're in and they take that one environment and it just becomes worldwide for them. Just like some black men. The first woman a man knows is the woman that birthed him. So a lot of these males or men, when they have a mom, right, and they growing up and they see the things their mom doing, their mom may say, I'm doing it because I'm taking care of you, I love you. But as he matures as a grown man, certain things he sees his mom do that is not appropriate for a son to see his mom do. And so when he get older, he experienced the world and he sees so many, if he's living in an environment where he grew up in, he see women that remind him of his mom so much that he becomes resentful. And what happens is he takes that resent and he blames every black woman. Now let's be honest with each other. The things that you see on TV and the things you see on Facebook and Instagram, it's a projection of what we think our black men and black women should act like because that's what you see. When she spoke on beauty, growing up, it was like if you was light skinned with long hair, you were just considered pretty. Even if you looked at videos, the black guys wanted the women that were mixed or they had these certain features. And so what happens is it could make a woman, a young black girl, feel a certain way about herself. And then as far as sexualizing, I think that a lot. I think that when I grew up, how guys watch girls grow up and they mature. And if that girl mama on drugs or her mama don't care, they will offer her money. But not all young black girls who grew up in a certain environment act like that. We all don't act like that. It's a small percentage. But if you live in that environment so long, you're going to think it's the whole percentage because that's all you see. The podcast and all that, these are people who are paid to do a service. Do they really think like that personally? Maybe, maybe not. But you have to realize money will make people say and do anything for it. You know, it's like you see the people on the podcast who have these issues with somebody that looks just like them, and then you look at them and they just as lost too. You know, it's like we as a race, we really all we have is each other, but it's some issues because it's the environment that a lot of us grow up in, and this is what we see all the time. So when that young brother leaves the black neighborhood and he sees the world, he may see other race of women conducting themselves differently. You know why? Because he's only used to the females in the hood that conduct themselves a certain way. Not all black women, just those few females in his small environment. And he takes that mindset with him through his life and say all black women act this way when he knows it's not true. Just like with some black women, all black men are bad. They did this. Just say some of the men I chose because I was sick and full of lust and not love. And my self-esteem wasn't high as it should be. So I decided to date these brothers. And they failed me because I failed myself first. But every man on this earth, every black man is not here to hurt you. It's a lot of people that grew up with a father and then grew up with a mom, and they still turned out great, and they still love their black man and black woman. Sometimes it's what we feel about ourselves, the ugliness, the hate, the resentment. We feel it with ourselves, and we just throw it to the world. And we let the people on the podcast, the world is hearing their views, but it's really saying, this is me. This is me. This is how I feel about myself.
Yes, ma'am. And then,
You know,
to
it's
the sisters also, I'm sorry on the call that's taking it personal. This is not a personal conversation, moms. This is no attack on raising black men. I said that from the beginning. This is a conversation of dialect. If your sons have come out to respect black women and have open dialect and be able to love us for who we are, pat yourselves on the back. You shouldn't be taking this personal if your kids came out right. What you should be doing is extending the olive branch to another sister to help her get it right. This is not a time for us to down one another. This is not a time for us to make one feel down. We all got it wrong at one point in life. Nobody is perfect and we all fall short. This is a time where we reach out to sister and we heal one another. But accountability comes with that reach out, sisters. And that ain't gonna feel too good because we all gotta put the mirror up. And we gotta learn to look at the things and the choices we continue to make that don't allow for healing. And that's where we got to have that real dialect, is when we don't want to put that mirror up and deal with the things that we're not ready to face to get to the next phase of healing in our lives, to get to sistership where you and I are on this call, to have this conversation, to have this dialect, to not take things personal, to get out of our emotions for one moment and think logical about the future of the decisions that we make as Black women and how that can be harmful to the future of our Black men in our communities.
I want to say something too,
I
Miss D.
think that
Hold on, my dear sis. Let me say this. I'm gonna let you talk. Miss D, remember earlier we had a conversation, and I heard you say that that you're scared of marriage and you're scared of relationships. In a sense, something like that. I think a lot of women are scared of marriage, afraid to get married because there's so much going on. I think we talked about that, but I'm not sure. Tell me, can you remember that when we talked earlier in that conversation?
Yeah, so I talked to you about my little pool table convos with my girls. Right. So us millennials, there's a bunch of us that sit in dialect, and we talk about a lot of, not, I would say about 75% of us don't have children. And we talk about the fears and also just not even just the fears. I grew up with my father in my life, so I had a lot of boundaries on things that I didn't want to do without commitment or consistency. And right now, our experience with the world is lack of consistency and commitment on both sides. Especially when there is a void to be filled for a woman that hasn't had a father and for a boy who has mommy issues or, have had issues with communicating with women in his life. I think we found ourselves afraid now to come into the real world, and we stay in this shelter of each other. And we stay in this shelter of dialect because that's the easiest place to be vulnerable. I can get in there and talk about how much money I make with her and be like, I wish, there's a Black man that when I don't come into his life, he's not intimidated by my success and understands that I still grew up in vulnerability, even though I'm smart, even though I've found a way to make really great money in this world. There's a lot more me's out there like this with this mindset, and we are terrified to procreate. We're terrified to experience the world again, because when we did and we were what the world asked us to do, to go and be the change our community needed to see and come back, own and buy and give and share and be of nurturing spirit, we get pooped on. We get shunned back into this, you ain't Black enough or you ain't tough enough. Who do you think you are? You think you better than us because you went off to college and you went and did that, but I came back. You missed that part. I came back. I bought next door to us to add value to us, to be the change our children needed to see. And when I did it, it was the people closest to me. It was the people that said they loved me. It was the people that was by me that was the biggest envy of me. And I don't mean just family. That means friends, environment, constituency, organizational, churches, from the ground up. This is what Black women have to go away, take in the whole world. Mind you, I went to school with 90% white people who told me I was a niglet. Fought for the first African-American history studies in my college. I had to come back and still be told I wasn't hood enough because my dialect changed.
It's like this. I think it goes this way. Eventually, it's gonna come a time in life you just cannot care what people think. Because what happens is this: if I consume myself with people sick of me all the time,
sister, I didn't say I care what they think. I said what the world
I didn't
says.
say you. No, you just missed what I said. You just missed what I said. I say we as an individual. I didn't say you. I'm just speaking as an individual in general. You can't care what people think. At the end of the day, it's some people you can take with you in whatever journey you try to go or help others, and some people you cannot take with you because some people can't be corrected about anything. And you will go back and forth trying to correct them on your views, and your views could be right, but they stuck in their own way. And that's just how it is sometimes.
Okay.
No, we know that, but the dialect is more about venting. We know that we have, people that are in strong mindsets, we have the opportunity to know that that means nothing. This is the vulnerability for us to just speak and say what exists, because a lot of people don't get this floor to say that this is what we're experiencing throughout the entire country. You and I may know that those are the things, and we can get to that later in conversation, but Black people need to hear this in conversation with one another. And we need to let that sit on our own shoulders. And we need to let that marinate in our own spirits for personal healing, not to just go over. Because, some of us know, but some people don't. Some people really don't get it. And some people need to hear it from a different perspective to understand that it is actually affecting us on a generational level. Because, yes, I'm strong enough, but if I'm dealing with this, then we wonder why the kids are disconnected from everybody. Because if it's this much disconnect with me in my 30s, how much more disconnect do we think there is for people in their 20s, in their teens? We have to begin to listen, and we have to begin to change the narrative versus deflecting it and saying, you know what, that's how our communities have always been. Well, we need to change the narrative, and more people need to be like this.
I think,
And we need to push out the sight of those. We need to recognize it, but we need to continue in dialect so that the good is outweighing the bad, and we don't continue to let the bad be overheard over the good. Too many conversations that we have in Black communities are dismissive of bad behavior, bad habits, and it leads to the new generation of kids that we have with this privilege to just be dismissive of everything. We need to hone conversation. We need to have difficult conversations. We need to have diverse conversations, because through diversity and adversity is healing. Everything is not going to feel good that we talk about. Everything is not going to taste good that we digest, but we need to do it because it's a necessity for us as a community. And that's why we continue to have generational curses. We need to heal. We need to let go of all of these closet matters that happen in Black household that hold us back. There are kids that are suffering from lack of love. There are children that have never been hugged because we want to brush off conversations. No, love on one another. Continue to push love in households and push out the doubt of hate. I no longer want to be told, if I know who it is, I'm pointing out and you gonna come hug me, because energy can never be created or destroyed, but it can definitely be transferred. So all that I have is positive energy and positive love to continuously be transferred in every opportunity and every platform as such, to transfer to every energy I can at every moment that I can. And I will not stop on that. I will stand 10 toes down in that in every room I go in, because I am sick of the conversation being dilapidated of bad energy in our community. Our children are suffering. We have to change the conversation. I'm no longer folding my knees to this lack of that people want to make excuses for. Because when we see things happen on the television, we can indirectly see Peter happening and be like, well, I wonder what happened in Peter's life. But as soon as it happened to Pookie Sean, he knew better. Pookie and Sean only had 10 resources and 40,000 students. Peter had 100 million resources given to him, and he still killed the whole family. Pookie and Sean get 10 resources between 40,000 students. Let me say that again, that they have to share and make it make sense for our children. So no, my grace for us has to be the same as I have when it's Peter on the mic.
I got a new caller. Let me see what this new caller have to say. 6970. Don't go nowhere, caller. 6970, caller. You're live. I'm Cut Unedited.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, this is my partner, Vera Giles Norris. Missing, please come home. All right. Okay. Go ahead, partner.
Yes, sir. You know what, Martin, I had to come in because I'm literally smiling, and I wanted to give these sisters that's speaking some flowers, because you know what I love hearing? I love hearing smart, powerful, passionate women, sisters who get it. And although we may not necessarily agree on everything, but it's about having an intellectual conversation to agree to disagree. Because none of us are all right, but none of us are all wrong. But it's the love that comes behind the message. So I wanted to give you ladies your flowers. And you know what? I am married. I'm married 23 years. It's going to be 24 years. And you know what? It has not been everything that I thought it would be. I've had, some Little House on the Prairie episodes, but I've also had some nightmares on Elm Street. But here's what I would not change for the world, not a day of it. And here's the reason then, is that although we've had some tough cities, it's in that milk. It's in that milk that has nourished the body, the mind, and the soul. And one of the things that I know for certain is that it's a difference when you have a two household parent, a household with two parents in it. I'm a mother of 5 amazing girls. 5. I gave birth. I believe I got 5 daughters and I have 7 grandchildren and counting. And I believe that I was here purposely sent to be fruitful and multiply. So the only thing that I can say is that although we don't know what the rest of the day or tomorrow may bring, I believe, me personally, this is Vera Giles Norris speaking. I believe that the only thing we could do is to fix each other crown every time we get a chance to, and not to necessarily put ourselves on the pedestal or put ourselves on the throne to look down on somebody else. But if we can look at each other and help each other up, that's half the battle. And again, we don't always have to agree. Martin, I had a post where I talked about I've been married, not cheated on my husband, and I don't sleep with other people's husbands. And I have a few people that do sleep with other people's husbands, and and they have cheated. And I said, but listen, sister, I ain't coming for you. I'm not even here to judge you, because only God can judge the adulterer. But what I am here to do is to talk about who I am and to say to women like me that it's okay. And you don't have to look at what somebody else did and what they did. Walk in your own shoes, because can't nobody walk your shoes like you can. And you can be happy and you can be okay in that. So again, I wanted to come in and just add to the love, add to the passion, because you speaking some good talk. And again, it may not apply to everybody, but here's what: if it don't apply, you can let it fly.
Yes, I had my mic on mute, but I was over here. Yes, thank you so. Yes, I love it. Thank you so much.
Because we were having this conversation. We was on the phone, me and Miss D, and I was like, Miss D, you saying some interesting things. Let's go live and let's talk about this. Let's talk like just you and I on the phone. And we didn't know what to name it, when we was gonna go live. But I said normally my live get warmed up around 20 minutes in. And here we go. Here we are. I said we're gonna let the Spirit lead us. And it's not about bashing nobody or making men look bad or women look bad. It's just we want to hear from another perspective.
Yeah.
I have been guilty of some of these things that have been said this evening. So now I can say, hold on, let me go back to the drawing board. Now I know not do this or say this or that. You got to learning is everything.
Yeah.
Because we learning each other, and a lot of times, like you said, Vera, you had your nightmare on Elm Street moments, and you had your Little House on Prairie moments. Hey, somebody need to hear that.
Yes.
They need to hear that. They need to hear it. And I appreciate you for coming on and saying that, partner. And I know your husband
you want to
personally.
know why we need?
Go ahead, sister. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. And you want to know why we need to hear it? It's because too many people get stuck in the delusion of what a marriage is supposed to be. It's said for better or for worse, for real.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes, ma'am.
you cannot look at somebody else's relationship and say, "Oh my God, I'm not gonna do it because this, that, and the third." Here's 3 places you can be. You can either be married or unmarried, or in a relationship with somebody wishing that you could one day be married. Married or unmarried, or wishing you could be. And it's a whole lot of folks that take
I need
pride.
I need you to hold it for a minute. I don't know who it is, but somebody making some noise in the background. It's very irritating. I don't know who it is, but whoever it is, please mute your phone until time for you to talk. So, because it's the noise is kind of like throwing everything off. But go ahead, partner. Go ahead.
Yeah. Because what we have made the norm is to be in position to brag about not being married, but sleeping with somebody else's husband or sleeping with somebody else's mate wife. And that don't put you in no better position. And again, I'm not here to judge, but we put too much light on that. Or to look at somebody and be like, oh my God, I don't want to be married because if I'm married, then I need to have this, that, and the third, and this is gonna have to go this way, and this is gonna have to go that way. I'm here to give you a little news. It may not. It might not go like you got it planned. Everything may not be like you want it to be. But guess what? That's just part of life anyway. But every day that you get up and become a better you than you were the day before, you helping your situation even that much more. Because the more you improve you, by default, you are improving everybody that's connected with you and everybody that comes in connection with you.
Amen.
And that's all we can do. So I love, just like Martin said, I love being black.
I love being black.
I love being in a relationship and connected and married. Two is always better than one. I love being a mother. I got some of the most amazing children ever been born. Because I am one of the most amazing children that was ever born. And I don't need nobody to tell me that. And this is not ego speaking. This is just me identifying who I am. And that be the problem sometimes. Folks can't look in the mirror and encourage themselves and be comfortable and know that they are being a better them today than they were yesterday. And then being willing, if God say get up tomorrow, get up with the same attitude, I'm going to be even better tomorrow. That's all we can do. And so again, I don't know if I'm still on track, but I just felt a need to just add on and to say to the amazing sisters that's on here that's been speaking. I don't even know whose name is who, but just keep on walking your path, keep on fixing crowns, keep on laying the foundation, keep on being who you are, and I'm gonna guarantee you're gonna touch somebody. And then for all of the men, you know, I have to apologize sometimes too. Because I realize that not only are our men not perfect, and they may do some things that we may not deem right, but how dare us tear them down? We can't tear each other down, and we should not dare tear our men down. Because if we can't lead, if we can't be the very helpmate that they need, then what does that say about us? And I ain't saying be no helpmate. I ain't saying be no punching bag. I ain't say none of that. But if we can't be the helpmate that we were purpose and here to be, then what are we really doing?
Hold it right there, partner. I got a new caller. 0516. Hey, caller, you're live. Uncut, unedited.
Hey, Martin, this is Cynthia. How are you?
Hey, Cynthia, how are you doing? Good.
Awesome.
So come and talk to us.
I just wanted to call in. Wanted to call in and like Vera said, to give the two young women that speaking their flowers. So often we talk at each other and not listen to what we say, whether the shoe fits or not. And like one of the young ladies said, it's about venting. Yeah, we know what it is. We know what's happening. But a lot of times we have to express it. We have to vocalize. We have to talk about it. It ain't that we don't know, because when we vocalize what we know, guess what? It's easy for us to reach somebody else who may be going through the same situation and don't know which way to go, or somebody that's going through and that don't want to talk about it. So conversation is always good. Disagree to disagree. So I commend both of them for humbling themselves and hearing each other out, whether they disagree or not. Because we don't do that as Black women quite often.
That's good. Well, you know, I just want to make this a space for people who have a freedom of speech and freedom to talk. And as long as we're respecting each other, not calling each other out names. And one thing about this platform, I practice it. Even if you not saying what I want to hear, I'm going to sit there and listen to it, you know. But that's what I want us to do to each other when you come on this platform, because we have to give each other respect, have to listen. We might not understand it. I mean, I learned some things today from a woman's point of view that I didn't know. So I learned something today, you know, and I wanted me and Miss D to come on here to have this conversation. I said, I want you talking just like we talking on the phone. Talk just like this on live so people can hear it. Then it comes another one. My other friend, Miss Pendleton, she come on here with her ideas and her words. And so it worked out perfect. And if any woman want to call in, even if a man want to call in, it's all right with me. And we have to have this perfect dialogue to help us deal with one another, because it's what I'm seeing now. This is what I'm witnessing. A lot of us are afraid of love. A lot of us are afraid to get married. We don't want to be married. A lot of us say, hey, I'd rather be by myself. And, it's all these things that you hear from a woman's point of view, from a man's point of view. I'd rather just give me a woman and pay as I go. Or women say, I don't need no man. I just need a man. Maybe just give me something. He can go on by his way. I hear it. Come on, people. It's pillow talk. We say it on both sides, In reality, we hurt. And like the sister Miss D said, we haven't healed properly. We have to heal properly.
Absolutely.
It's healing got to take place.
Go
ahead.
A lot of us, I think, Martin, a lot of us don't understand even what healing means. A lot of people just get into a relationship, just jump from relationship to relationship, pretty much trying to forget or to mask what the real problem is. And so at that point, you're just carrying luggage. And like she said, there is no healing, because you're just going from relationship, person, and then trying to figure out as you get older why things not working for you. And so remember, they didn't took, a lot of people look down on going to talk to somebody. I wouldn't even say a therapist, but just talking to somebody about what it is they're going through. So I appreciate you having conversations as such, because whether it makes sense or not, you're providing a platform for everybody to listen to for all walks of life. And so all it takes is that one thing that somebody says to open up your mental horizon, and then just know that, there is hope, there is other people going through. And then you can, most of the time, move accordingly. A lot of us be ashamed of what we're going through, when in all actuality, it's a million other people out in this world that's going through. But if you don't talk to nobody, or you have anybody that you got to trust on platforms as yourself, I always listen to you, because I'm like, let me see what Martin talk about now. And every time I listen to your platform, I always get something out of it. So I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you guys for listening. I want to be fair, people. I want to be fair. I don't want to. I'm a very dominant person, but I know my place. I know when to be dominant. I know when to hold and fold, and I know that. And I like to hear. I like to listen. A lot of you guys, I do a lot of listening when on these podcasts, but when I'm in my zone, I could talk for hours straight. No phone calls. So this time we ought to take advantage of this platform while it's running strong and going strong, and speak. Who's gonna wake the dead up? We need each other. James Brown said it's a man's world, but he said it wouldn't be nothing without a woman. That's exactly his words. That's what he said. He boasted a little bit, but he said it wouldn't be nothing without a woman. And we need each other. Men and women need each other. It ain't always got to be about sex or whatever. We just need. Listen, I can truly say this, and she on here, Vera, we've been knowing each other some years now. We have never, Vera's husband, I know her husband, we've never talked under each other underwear. We've always had great conversations. Always respectful conversations. There's some people out here that thought something was going on, but we just sniggle at it, because people don't believe that a male and a female can be friends without something going on, or or some sex jokes. Now you do have those friends that they say you're a friend, but they try to hit on you at the same time, but playing it off. That ain't the type of relationship me and Vera have. Right. So somebody help me out on this. Yeah.
Well, I've lost plenty of male friends for that. This is Miss D. Let's talk about that. The conversation of, boundaries, when it comes to men and women in friendship. I've experienced that on several occasions because my heart is so big. I grew up in a household of love, and it's nothing I can do about that. I'm never going to change who I am. I grew up on love with my mom and my dad, and I'm so grateful for that. that anybody that comes in contact with me, Martin, it's just love. Like, it is what it is. If I can help, then I will. If I can't, then I'll try my best to at least point you in the direction of the right resources. Sometimes, this world is painted Black women to be so angry and so bitter sometimes that when Black men run into a woman like me, it's automatically, oh my God, this has to be the one. And I'm not the one. I'm different from the last one you had. And so many times do people risk friendships for that little moment that they experience in a good person in me. And I just want to warn my men that, take heed to that, because good friends and women are hard to come by. And y'all break our trust. And I'm sure y'all could have y'all discussions. I can't speak to that because I'm a woman. I can only speak about my experience with you guys. So I'm gonna give my end of it. Be mindful of what you do also when you get married to beautiful Black women, and your friend was your friend before you got married and you decided to cheat on your wife. You then end your friendship with your friend in that moment selfishly. Because as my friend, when you marry, I marry too. And that should be on both sides. And that comes with the male and his friendship and however you guys do on your side. But on my end, how men tote that line of boundary with jokes and ha with the shoulder in and the inappropriate hand slaps on different certain parts of women's bodies, and you go home to another woman. I think that take some responsibility in that. Put that mirror up and know that sometimes you guys create unnecessary circumstances with body language, and that little hand gesture, that hug below the waist, that's inappropriate. We're doing shoulder hugs. Our shoulders touching. Your hand shouldn't go beneath the woman's waist when you leaning in and you taking anyway. I think all of that needs to be in this dialect of things that I've seen my dad tell me. Even if my dad is not the most perfect man, I'm so grateful that the examples and the way my dad has led me in this world to still have love for Black men, even after their faults, and to still have patience and grace for Black women, even after our bad decisions and manipulation. I'm grateful that my mama allowed my dad to raise me in that moralistic view.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I got another friend on here. We've been friends for over 20 years, and she said the same thing on here. I always respect her. I've never talked under clothes or nothing like that. You got to be like it. You can't break that boundary. Sometimes you listen. One thing about me, and I may be popular and all that, but one thing I do know in the back of my mind, everybody that smile at Martin Johnson or admire what I do don't want to go to bed with me. I got enough sense enough to know that. And some men don't have that. Men think that every time a woman smile at them or admire something they do, they want to go to bed with them or they like them. That's not the case. Period. I'm saying it from a man point of view. I'm speaking from a man's point of view.
Preaching, Martin.
Yeah. And that's real talk. So, sit there. Me and you friends. You know what I'm saying? We cool. Yes, I ain't never disrespected you. Never, in no kind of way.
No, you haven't.
Or proposition you low key or none of that. You're a beautiful person. And I always have to say you're a nice looking woman. Never disrespect her. And I don't have a problem with telling a Black woman she a beautiful person. And to me, you don't have to be beautiful in looks. It's what you're doing. That's more so what I'm impressed of. How you making moves. That's what's more so that impressive with me. Because it's a lot of beautiful women out here and they empty shells. They don't have nothing inside to offer but their body. But the mind is a powerful thing, and I'm not bashing no woman at all. And I'm just being honest from a man's point of view. Man, you're welcome to call in too. I think I got a man call on here too. It might be Sarge. 912. 912.
What's going on, Martin?
Lord, y'all been holding.
Oh, this is awesome.
Okay. Go ahead, Sarge. Go ahead. I'm going to sit back, man.
And I have seen embarrassment on both parts over like the way I do what I do when I do what I do, right? Now, by that, I mean, I'm in a relationship with a woman, right? I'm not saying right now, but when I was. I'm finna get in the shower, whatever I'm finna do. The phone is next to the bed. Answer my phone if it rings. It may be something important. I go in there, I'm doing my thing. It'd be female friends, right? I mean, we just cool people. Ain't nothing going on. Phone rang. Hello. Hello. Click. Maybe I got the wrong number. Push it again. Call back. Hello. Is this Leonard home? Yeah, he's in the shower. Oh. Well, I'm like, see, now you sounding suspect. Just talk to whoever answered the doggone phone. Because if you sounding uncomfortable, evidently, something's wrong with you. You see what I'm saying? You calling my phone. You calling my phone. You supposed to be my friend. You know I'm in a relationship already too? Or I've become in a relationship? Because you called me and noticed I ain't talked to you in about a week. Like, oh, you must have you a little lady friend now. We ain't talked in a good week. So you know I got me a lady friend now. And you gonna all that on the phone with her. No, don't do that. Because then she's gonna be asking me questions. Well, who is she? And what is she to you? Somebody I ain't never touched. We ain't never been on no. Well, why she act so nervous? See, now I gotta answer questions I shouldn't have to answer.
Can I
Go ahead, darling. I'm just saying, I'm different.
I mean, different is good. So, I have a lot of male friends that I relationships. Some of them aren't. I mean, partners. I don't think necessarily all the time it's a bad thing, or it's kind of more so like a shock. So, for instance, 15 plus years, and they got. So if they, it would be a shock to me because somebody else answered.
Your phone kind of breaking up.
Seth, I think your phone breaking up. Your signal bad or something.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me just go. I said I don't think it necessarily means that there's something going on. I think it at times could be a shock because again, if you're not expecting somebody else to answer the phone, the answer phone is like, oh man. But so I think I don't, and I say that because I'm not dealing with any of them. And so if their girlfriend or whomever answers, it would be a shock because I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not used to her answering. But that don't necessarily mean that we're doing anything. I'm just shocked that somebody else answered the phone.
I mean, I know people are different. It's a friend of mine, Paige, love her to death. That's little sis. I called her husband answered the phone. I was like, hey.
Sarge.
Like, where's Paige at?
Hey, Sarge.
She's sweet. I'll be real quick.
No. I'm
not
real
quick.
Sarge. I'm just trying to. It's some signal going on. Uh-huh. I hear like an echo with somebody. Make sure y'all have your Facebook turned
somebody
down.
Somebody balling up paper.
No, I don't know what it was. A little echo or something. But go ahead. I wasn't trying to stop you. I just wanted to let you know. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I called Paige up. So Paige, her husband answered the phone. He sleep. He and I talking, and we on some like homie, we chopping it up, right? She messed around and woke up a while later and she said, babe, who you on the phone with? I'm on here with old school. Oh, why didn't you wake me up? You was asleep. Oh, what y'all talking about? We talk about what we talking about. Why you worried about what we talking about? And she was just like, oh, okay. Well, most people would have, they would have felt uncomfortable. I'm like, that's your husband, you my friend. I'm comfortable with whatever it is because I'm not trying to get with you.
Sarge, you got somebody, everybody put their phone on mute because I hear an echo or something. I don't know who it's coming from. I don't know if it's coming from.
Okay, I'm going to hit mute right now.
Okay. All right. Miss D, go ahead. Comment. Talk to us.
Well, I really don't have much to say to Sarge. That sounds a bit messy. Even though I'm in my 30s, I don't have the patience for what he just described. I think that clear communication between adults would have cleared that, right on up. I don't experience, and I don't experience stuff like that because I'm very transparent in my communication. And maybe being more communicative and more transparent in communication versus having like a guessing fest is what it sounds like everybody's doing in that particular situation. would help alleviate some of those concerns of insecurity. I think that just my lessons in my 30s from what I've watched over the years is the lack of communication has built this trench for a lack of trust. And because we don't know how to communicate, it creates all of these pits of assumptions in communication versus having direct communication with one another to understand exactly what's on the table so that we can make sense out of what we need to do next. I think far too many times folks are looking for this cat and mouse game, and folks are getting their feelings hurt. And the whole time, folks in my generation and folks like myself that may not even be in my generation are looking head on, and we're scared because I don't have time for a rabbit chase. You know, we're in a world that it is, if Black people don't combine and join together to build in this nation, we're going to get left out. And right now I'm ready to build. I'm ready for people that's ready to build for a family, for a future. That this world we live now is too much is a joke already. Too much is messy already. What part of it are we going to take serious? And this coming from a 30-some-year-old, you know, and I haven't seen our people take things serious enough, you know, for me. And it's scary because right now we're being put at the bottom of everybody's totem pole and we still not building family. We still not building generational wealth. We still don't know what it is to come into and conjoin as one. We really need to get back on conversation and true dialect. And when folks come in with things to get us off, that's cool. Hey, you know, I hear you, but let's get back focused to what the real conversation is. And that's Black love. That's Black family. That's Black morals. That's Black legacy. That's what the conversation needs to be guided in, and accountability and responsibility, and stop letting a joke or somebody's fun moment take us off of what seriously needs to happen, because right now we losing our morale in this world, and it don't feel good as a Black sister in her 30s. I want to be basking in the ambience with my brethrens and my sisters, and it's not going to be perfect because shoot, I wake up sometimes and I can't stand Black people, but I love us. I can't stand some of the things my cousins them do, anybody do sometimes, but I love them, and it's in my innate nature to be there for us. And we have to start being there for each other like we see ourselves do for everybody on the outside. We'll see us fight one another, right? We'll see, oh, leave that man alone. He ain't did nothing to nobody. But we said nothing about the 9 homeless people we seen standing out there knowing their story, knowing that life done handed them a bad hand. Well, he could have did better with his life. He see his sister went to nursing school. He see his mama went to this. We don't indulge to heal or have grace for one another enough that I see us have publicly with other groups of cultures that are not ours. We have our arms open. We got to love everybody. But when are we going to start with loving self? That means when I see my sisters down, I give y'all an example. I was out and this young girl tried to fight me. And look, the old Danita, keep it 100. My people come from the streets. The old me would have been ready to knuck if you buck. But the healed me from college, this is the 18 and older me. The reminder that my parents raised me on love me. My dad sat me down one day and he told me, baby, you are so beautiful. But how is the world going to ever see that if you keep swinging your hands? Sit down, find a different way to love on other people, and watch how much more power you have with people when you are able to go into dialect with them versus fist. And I haven't been in a fight since. Because I look my Black sister in the face and say, you ready to knock my nails off? I just paid $90 for these. We don't want to do that. I'm beautiful. And I mean it when I say it. I don't say it because I'm arrogant. I say it because I am a beautiful being that my father raised me to be every single day of my life. And who are you for me to allow to come in and to be abusive to that? I won't allow anybody to do that. No one is deserving of that. And I love my people too much to not be the change we need to see. This beautiful young Black sister needs to have access to all of that. Yeah, I got access to capital, but guess what I'm doing now? I'm giving it back, and I'm loving those sisters, and I'm not downing you for the mistakes that you made, because this world has not been afforded to us in any way on either side of it, for the men or for the women. What I'm saying is now it's time for us to pick each other up. Now it's time for us to figure out a plan. How do I hold my sisters accountable without me making you feel like I'm holding you back mentally, spiritually, or physically, or through love? Because I love y'all sisters. We are beautiful beings. We give life to the best creatures in the world and we call them black men. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that. That combo is the best and worst combo this world is yet to see. And we need to give it to them like that. Because the best combination in this world is a black man and a black woman. And what that woman said about her marriage, I seen it. I grew up in a married household. And that's what makes me love marriage even more, is because it teaches us tenacity. It teaches us family. It teaches us to stand for each other in good or bad, in sickness or health. It teaches you to get it out the mud for somebody. It teaches you to share your soul. It teaches you not to be selfish. It teaches you to grab at your morality. You got to do it for somebody else now. It's not just about you when you become one with somebody else. And I want that back in our community. We need that back in our, it don't have to be perfect. Who asking for perfection? I'm not God. I'm not perfect. I made so many mistakes in my life up to 30. You think I'm ashamed of any of them? But I'm still college educated. Guess what? I still own property. I still own everything in my name. I still own a business. And I still love black men. And guess what? A black man still could come in my life and tell me what to do. Because when you can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do. But when you can't tell me what to do, go get yourself together, brother, until you can tell somebody what to do.
Tell the truth and shame the devil. We got 2 new callers. All right. Area code 262. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, Martin. Hey. I'm just going to elaborate on some of the things I've heard.
Okay, no problem.
I think that we need an outlet for the newer generation to start learning from, because we are creatures of habit. Because whatever trend is going on, everybody follow it, bad or good. So if people start trending family and like back in the later days, like this.
Hold on, I get it. All right, go ahead, sister.
Okay. Like back in the 60s and 70s and stuff, you saw people just got married because it was what you do. When you got 18, you got married, or 21 or whatever, you got married, then you started having kids. And somewhere along the way, we broke the cycle to start having kids and never get married. Men started having babies all over the place. And see, back then, it wasn't like that where babies was everywhere. It was families together, whether they was good families or bad families. See, and that's not a trend now. It's more single homes. There's more broken homes. There's more single mothers with kids. There's more teenagers with kids. And they're kids themselves, so they don't know what to teach these kids. So now we on a whole trend of something totally different.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I got another.
So we need an outlet.
Go ahead, sister.
We need an outlet to teach this to our younger generation in order to change the generation, because what they're hearing on this music and whatnot, it's not positive. And and when I came up, it was unheard of, some of the things that's going on now. But now it's the way of life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. You're absolutely right. And hopefully through platforms like this, we can duplicate this message. Somebody can share this for another young sister to hear, for us to open the dialect, that the next time they can reach out to him to have dialect with Miss D, and we can maybe grow this conversation. Because you're right. You know, the sexy reds of the world are winning, and it disgusts me. Just as a young sister, I'm not perfect, you know, and I have my times where I enjoy and went out with my friends, but it looked nothing like this. We were taught dignity. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And right now, it's not what it's how you do it, and they don't give a darn what you do. I think the message has been reversed, and there has to be, you know, that conversation of putting that mirror up on accountability again back in households. You know, too many parents give the privilege of being friends, and a lot of folks that I grew up, you know, that are now my age, had the mentality of saying, I never raised my kids how I was raised before. And we need to get back to the notion of taking some of those core values of the way that we were raised, because we didn't turn out so bad. You know, we have to it's not about that the world is changing. Yes, the world is changing, but that does not mean that we have to lose core values. That does not mean that our core values of our innate nature of being beings in this world has to shift. What that means is that the trends are changing, like this young lady just said. But the core and the innate nature, that doesn't have to change. Look at all other ethnicities and other cultures. The core of who they are never changes. That's why most of them can't go back to their homeland, because the core won't change. It's not to say that that's better, but what I'm saying is that it is some foundation to go back to. Right now, we are losing all foundation in which our Black households were built on from slavery. And we talk about sharing everything that we have with everybody until it's time for them to share theirs with us, and then they mouth closed. And then we don't want to hold our constituents accountable, but we'll come back home and fight each other and say what we don't want. Well, guess what? $4 trillion spending power is the Black community, right? And not once have we decided to use it for ourselves. Those are steps to accountability to change the media. When people give us the truth, to stand in truth and to shame the devil, and to stop loving, to stop liking on people for likeness, and to just tell the truth. And when the truth is set out to people, to make sure that we have discernment enough to say, okay, this is the truth. Even though I may like this person, I still have to deal with this truth in front of me. The truth of financial literacy, the lack thereof of it. But all our kids know every rap video and got money and access to spend our debit cards on Roblox. That's the real conversation.
You know what? I'm a teacher, and I always say that our schools for our Black kids should have a class added to the curriculum called life. Just generally life. Because our kids come out of school, they have no idea how credit works. Until they screw it up, they have no idea how a household works, but they'll give them a baby to come home and take care of. They show how taking care of a baby works. But they need to know just a class with life skills, just to learn how to some of them, they stop having them write curses. Some of them can't even sign their name. But they need a class in the curriculum called life.
Yes, ma'am. I agree with you on that. And Mr. Kenneth Watkins, I agree with you too.
Hold on, Sarge. Go ahead, Miss D.
Mr. Kenneth Watkins, I agree with your comment. We've taken, God out of things. We have no direction. And God is not me choosing religion, guys. So we don't have to get religious in the comment. When I say God, that means higher being and high power to pray to. So that means I'm engulfing all religion, because I'm not here to shame any. What I'm saying is that we've taken that out of household, we've taken that out of leadership, and we've taken that out of every level of educating our children. Because when we have God, we have a center. We have something to grasp that is a higher being than ourselves. And Mr. Watkins, you are absolutely right. I agree with that. Some friends and I, we talked about that, people having the choice to choose their God in the classroom and have something to pray to, a greater being and a greater power. When that was taken, a lot of things was taken from our children. And now we kind of see what this world is unfolding to right now without God being in our lives consistently and persistently.
Beautiful. We got a new caller, another call. Let me get this caller real quick, then I'll let you guys comment. All right, caller, area code 224. Caller, go ahead. Caller.
You know what it is, live uncut.
Hey, all right. You got to make sure you turn your Facebook down, man. Old timer.
Yeah, I did. I was passing by the TV. It was up.
Yeah, got.
But
go ahead.
I've been listening. What? I need to turn something else down.
I think you're good. I think he'll echo, but go ahead.
Okay. I've been listening to the young lady speak that said she was around 30. And it sounded like she said some of the same things that I ascribe to. And I got a son, and I told my son, years ago, I say, well, we have 4 daughters. I say, well, young man, let me tell you. Now, I told him this before he was a young man now. I say, now, you can't let anybody outdo you, because, you're subject to be the head of this family. And if he don't know what to do, then that's going to be bad for him. Now, I say that in regard to he needs to know about business. He needs to know about running his household. My wife and I can go somewhere I mean, look what happened to the people they went on the duck boat that time. The whole family went down in support. Somebody got to keep the family going, and somebody got to know how to run the family. So that's where he comes in at. And of course, my daughters, they come in with it too, but I can't leave him out there, like, man, I don't know what my parents do. I don't know. Now, he came in my retirement, and what he told me, he said, well, Dad, I never saw you not get up and go to work. So he was paying attention to it. So now he's working. He's a plumber. He can do a lot of things with his hands. So, but I see this here. Around age 25, they need to be very serious, Martin, about looking into family life, because you have to get a house. And when I was working, the number one thing that the Caucasian people and other races that had joined in with them, they wasn't joining in with too many blacks, but they was joining in with the Caucasian. The number one goal while he was working on their job was to get them a house. I'm not making this up. They wanted to get a house, and they would tell one another, my credit is not where it's supposed to be. I'm trying to work on my credit and get it built up. See, we don't like to talk to people because we've been told, don't let nobody know your business. Don't let nobody know what's going on with you. So we keep everything to ourselves, so we don't like to discuss it. But those Caucasian people, man, they tell one another, I got a sprinkler in my yard, and the other one go get a sprinkler in his yard. And they don't use that term, but it's people trying to keep up with the Joneses. They live life to the fullest. And if you notice, a lot of times when it comes to Caucasian, they don't have to get on TV and say, what's business like for a person that look like me? But that's what we like to do. We say, we get right in front of Caucasian people, and Caucasian people saying, well, this world is open. It all depends what you want to do. If you want to be a business owner, you want to go to school, it ain't going to be easy, but you can do whatever you want to do. But we use that term, well, what is it for a person that look like me? Well, you got to get up and go to work. And our young brothers, they know how to make babies. They can do all of that stuff. But man, when it comes down to it, you got to be family. You got to be family all the way. And you can't be making excuses about, well, I didn't have a father. I mean, you can. But the bottom line is you kind of know what's standing before you. And this sister is talking some very deep things here. And I trust that, that we listening to it, because now you need to get our young men on this program and ask them what do they think about life. I ain't talking about all our successful young men, because we got a lot of black successful young men out there. But we need to hear from everybody, because we need to build our neighborhoods, because the Caucasian people, man, they're building homes that start at $300,000, $400,000. We still talking about affordable housing. See, because that's where we at. So we gonna have to catapult ourselves up to the upper echelon. Like we say that we were kings and queens in Africa. That's where we were. But when it comes down to it, we seem to be lagging behind, because everybody else, you go out there in Palos Hills, Palos Heights, all those other areas, man, the white people are thriving out there. They got malls, they got new malls, everything. We still got the same neighborhoods. So it all depends what we want. We have got to get up, and we have got to get moving, and we got to do it now.
Yes.
I'm listening, though. Go ahead on. God bless you. I'm listening to your program.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm so grateful for your perspective, sir. I'm really grateful you called in just as a sister. I'm really grateful for that perspective. It warms my heart that some fathers are out there promoting young, great black men. So pat yourself on the back, King. I'm very grateful for you.
I think Sarge wanted to say something.
Yeah, because my thing on it, Martin, is this. You have a lot of lip service, and I be telling people, okay, if you didn't educate yourself on something, how you gonna teach somebody what you don't know? What's that noise in the background?
Everybody put their phone on mute real quick. So go ahead, Sarge.
It's like, it wasn't even an echo. It was like.
Sometime. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm like, how you going to teach somebody if you don't know? You need to take it upon yourself to educate yourself. I mean, I could appreciate this needs to be taught in school. That needs to be taught in school. thus and so. I could appreciate that. But damn, when are we going to take the bull by the horns and do it for ourselves? We know for a fact, if I ain't got no money, how am I going to take care of a child? But we know the value of this, that, and the third. That contraception don't cost that much. Now, I'm just talking about the fellas. The women ain't got nothing to do with this here, what I'm saying right now. Because women get emotional and they lose their mind.
That's not what we're going to do today. We're going to respect each other, sir.
This ain't got nothing to do. Hold on, sister. Hold on, sister. Let me rock out. Now, you as a man supposed to be the leader. You see that woman smiling. You see she vibing with you, this and that. You see you can get right on in, right? Just because that's the deal don't mean you got to partake of it like that. You know what I'm saying? I'll get another notch in my belt. No, pimping, that's somebody's daughter. That's somebody's sister. That's somebody's auntie down the road. You know what I'm saying? Get your hormones in check. You know? And then there was somebody that was saying something about, when I was talking about the phone situation, talking about that being messy. It's like, look here, I'm 61 years old, and the women that I associate with in those matters are women in my age group. And none of us see it as being messy. We see it as being totally transparent with whoever you with, so ain't no surprises. See, it's all about honesty. And our children, and I'm going to end it right here. Those that practice that, we told our children, this is how you do what you do. Had a situation, my son, damn, see, I'm old. I'm trying to think, how old my boy right now? Is he 30, 31? Something like that anyway. He had a situation like that. His hands was wet. He couldn't answer his phone. Some numbers coming up. The girlfriend over there, this was years back. He's like, well, answer the phone. My hand's wet. You can't swipe on your phone. And she thought something was wrong with him because it was like, answer my phone, baby, answer my phone. She thought something was wrong with that. It's like, look, this your woman, right? Yeah. You with that man, right? Yeah. So what the problem is? Y'all should be able to answer each other's devices. Shouldn't be no, they left the phone down. Let me see what inboxes they got in their Facebook and this and that and all that sneaking and creeping. No, you're supposed to be transparent. You see what I'm saying? If you're gonna get to the altar, you got to start living as one at some given point and break that in, get used to it.
Sarge, you taking us in a area that we don't want to go, bro. I mean, I appreciate you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We don't want to go. We trying to. We doing some healing and we trying to, help me out, Miss D. Help me out, Miss D.
No, so look, I appreciate your
I heard what she's talking about, black folks.
Mister, you're gonna have to let me talk.
Talking about black folks, loving on black folks.
Sarge.
Sarge, you're gonna have to let me talk. I respectfully gave you the floor, sir. So now it's my turn. I appreciate your perspective. I'm grateful for your perspective and what you said. I heard you. Hold them in, responsible for some decisions they making out here in the sex world. I heard you. I listened to you. I receive you, brother. But I want to kind of pull it back to where we were talking about with us healing with one another, and let's find a solution to all of this. Brothers know what brothers need to do, and that's dialect that you guys need to have and host with one another. And sisters know what we need to do for sisters, and that's the dialect that we want to indulge in, because I'm a sister, and I can't necessarily indulge in too much of what men need to do. I can just only tell you what my dad has taught me as an amazing dad in my life, and been a great example for me in this world. And one thing he did teach me, Latanya, is God is love, but so is black. Black is love. Black love is one of the things that pushes me. Is because I've seen so much hurt on both sides. Is that I've really been able to witness the hurt of Black men and the hurt of Black sisters. And I'm gonna tell you, it's no winner in this battle. It's no winner. The only thing we can do is subside and say I apologize and come to the center with love. Because on both sides is wrong, and on both sides is fault, on both sides is deceit, on both sides is hurt. You know, that's deeper than any of us can go, because this goes all the way back to slavery and the demasculation of Black men, and also the raping and the misuse of Black women. So the hurt is equal on both sides. They fooled us to make us think that one pain was greater than the next, when we both are suffering equally from a world that we didn't ask to be in. What we have to do is decide to heal with each other to get through it. And what healing looks like is different for everybody. What triggers looks different for everybody. And I'm not perfect in it, because I'm only human and I still fall short of everything every day. But every single being in me, every single time I can, I try my best to focus on what could get me to the next step to be a better person than I was yesterday. Just because it's already hard being Black out here, y'all. It's already hard being Black, whether you man or woman. It is hard on both sides. And let me just say this, sister, if we go into battle, I'm not breaking my nails. So we better build these Black men up. I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all done lost y'all cold turkey mind. If you think I'm taking my trash out, I will call my brother from way yonder to come all the way out here and take my trash out, because I know my place. You can be offended when I say that if you want to. I know my place, and it's making really good money. But I still know my place. I'm not like some young lady that's a pushover and doesn't express herself and doesn't understand how to, operate within this world as a sister. But I'm gonna tell you this, I'm tired of being strong. I want to be listed as fragile, like that package they send on UPS. I want that.
Tell the
I
truth.
want, when people see me,
shame,
they
bro.
handle me
Yeah.
with care. They understand that on the inside of this package, you can't just do anything with. You got to take care of me. You got to make sure I get from one destination to the next with fragility. That's what I want. I'm strong enough to help my sisters out, but I'm not a strong woman. Take that title off of me and give it to a man. And I work my butt off so that the man can come into my life and have something to build on, because we know we live in a world where Black women have been altered up so that we can outdo Black men. Let's just be honest. We doing it. Hoorah. And now we doing it without a Black man. Make it make sense. It does not. I don't want to do it alone. I can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. And in this world, in order for us to be the things that we want to see, and for our kids to be able to have the world that we want them to have, then we got to do better. Simple as that. No more discussion. We got to do better. The next time you run into a brother, you make it your business to do better in your communicating with him. The next time you're about to speak ill on a sister, hold your tongue. The next time you're about to say, my baby daddy ain't nothing, put the mirror up and realize you slept with him and procreated.
Well,
Let's
damn.
take some accountability and self-responsibility, y'all. Me and call in and talk to me, please.
All right, man, Colin. We're looking for more.
Oh, well, but Martin,
go ahead,
but Martin, that's true what she's saying, and it's not that the man don't understand, but the man is being put in check right now. See, right now this is a gut check moment for men to say, well, hey, if this sister can say this, she ain't blowing off no smoke, and she ain't saying nothing that's wrong. Now, brothers got children. I just go on YouTube sometimes. I see what some of the football players, and I ain't trying to throw no hate, say they got 9 children, 2 baby mamas. I mean, all those, this talk, different things. We not teaching our young men the words that she's using. Most young Black men don't even use these words: fragility, fragile. They're just not doing it, but that's resided for people that's got some education to their side. And there's a lot of nice Black women out there in all of these major cities. And you know what? People don't want to see all these women of color out there. People are trying to emulate them. They're trying to do everything they can to be like them. And yet at the same time, a lot of other people have men. Our women, it's astounding to say that, oh, you not married? You ain't got nobody? This is almost unheard of. That our young women don't even have a man. You know, and yet we don't see nothing about it. We don't see nothing wrong with it. Now I was looking at this, and I'm gonna be quiet. I ran over R. Kelly, and he was over in the prison over there, and he was singing. And I guess somebody must have interrupted him, and he started using the N-word. You say, Ian, you don't never interrupt me while I'm singing. Ian, don't you never interrupt me, Ian, while I'm doing that. Now I'm saying, why did he have to go to that direct extreme to say all of that? So I'm saying that there's an area where we want to operate in, and we want to stay there. But that's not helping our situation. This program that you got is helping and bringing to light some of the things that we can start to use it to catapult ourselves. Because when you start putting pressure on men like what she's talking about, it's going to cause for a change. Every young black man, every one of them. I know, but George on there, he's going to have to agree with this. He said he's 61. You got to have, man, at least 4 or 5 different credit cards in your wallet. You got to have that. Because if you don't, man, you don't have no stability in your life. You can't get no credit. You ain't got no credit card. You just ain't operating in this world the way this world works. This world works and operates on credit. And that's the way that you got to find your place in there. And our young black men, you got the credit and all that stuff. You can't go nowhere with no lady. You ain't got no credit. You got to get a car. What, you going to use her credit card?
Yeah, I think also, to expand on what he's saying on that part, for me, it's dialect for both sides and accountability and responsibility. He just held men, responsible. For me, on the accountability on the women's side is, let's look at how we raise our children. So many times do mother raise the boys to be the one they bail out, but the girl is the one working the job at McDonald's or getting up and going to hustle, and do the other things. So, even in the household where there are, single mothers and they have a daughter and they have a son, far too often do we see the mother, make sure she bail that son out before she does that daughter. So what she's innately done, has taught that daughter this self-defense. We indirectly now have this shield that can't no man do nothing for me because my mama done made me do it all for my brother. You know what I mean? I have to bail my brother out all the time. I have to do this for the boys in the family. And it don't just stop with your brother. It's in black families heavy, where the women catered to our men, but then made the women the tough realm. And then we got some tough women. Well, yeah, the boys was able to kind of Boy Scout through things and get, don't do my baby like that. Not my baby boy. That's mama's baby right there. Or dictating their experiences with women, dating through their sons. You know how many young men I've dated and they mama on the date basically, and she's not there? It's annoying. It's what he's speaking to. It's an extension to what he's saying. Oh, they can't build credit. They can't build credit because they mama doing it for them. They can't do these things in life because they mama doing it for them. And the moment a man stands up, and women, we got to self-reflect on this. And this might not be for all women. So don't take this if it's not you, but you know a few that do. If a man steps up and tries to hold her son accountable, she'll damn near send you to jail or fight 10 people before you can get to him, because she doesn't want him to learn consequences, because she wants to bail that son out. And that's the generation of men we got to get stuck with, that like to get bailed out by their mamas. And this is our experience. So the mamas don't get to come on here and tell me who we got to date. What they get to do is go back home and self-reflect to the young men that they're raising to send back out in this world. And then the men come in our lives, you right? Well, and they want me to be the mama. And I'm not a mama. I'm a nurturer. I'm here to raise my own family, not your mama family. It's a baby boy generation. Say that, Mr. Watkins.
Let it talk. Go ahead.
It is a baby boy generation. I'm responding to a lot of the folks that are in the chat. Men absolutely should establish credit. But how are they going to do that when their mama establishing everything for them in their lives? They got to let go of these men, and they got to let men have influence over men. And not all situations warrant that. So women, when I speak this, stop taking it personal and getting in your feelings saying, well, I raised my son right and he do this. Kudos to you, and I love you 10 times more. Now grab another sister and help her do it too. grab another sister so she can help another sister, because we need to get back to it takes a village to raise a child. And you got to start letting aunties and uncles have says on your kids like they used to, because y'all allow the disrespect to the generation that can help you build these kids to be better too. And we got to have those discussions in Black family, because women have raised their kids to a point where they don't have to listen to nobody but their mama. Okay, so when the disrespect comes, who else you want to help you? You've allowed your children to have you as a safe space and a bailout for generations. Even when it comes to teachers, look at what teachers dealing with, because their mama's gonna come up there and fight them, and they might shoot you. The mother can help, but it's her place to allow a man to have some type of influence on him being a man, because that's something women can never be, and that's a man. We have to allow some type of examples in our children's lives for them to see what the responsibility of a man looks like. And this is not the old school generation where I watch nanas and big moms raise women, raise men, and teach us how to be nurturers and wives and take care of the household and still learn how to get out. But also teach our men to be responsible, hands-on men, to think logically and know how to be turned down. Look how many kids, look how many young boys are killing our girls because they can't take no for an answer. There's no emotional accountability out there, because we got too many parents belling out boys and building baby boys instead of men. And we got too many people raising tough women. So now all the women want to fight. I don't know what to do. I just rather stay in. The women want to fight and the men want to cry. I feel like we really need to find some type of new base for this, and I don't know where it starts. I don't know where it is, but I'd like for us to start somewhere.
Okay. Let me say something real quick. We need more men to call in. People, the number right here. Call in number 872-299-0808 or 872-297-6389. We need more men to call in. Call in. The sister is speaking.
And remember to be respectful, because I'm not gonna let no sisters disrespect you kings, and I don't want no kings disrespecting no sisters. We could get our point across. We can exchange in dialect by saying our experiences, and I'm not here to take anybody's experience, because your experience is just that. And if the sister hurt you, brother, she hurt you. Put on blast. Let's get through that situation, but let's try to do it respectfully, where we show love to one another, and we could get through this hurt, and we could get through this pain, and my apology may help you. Because I'm sorry if she did hurt you. And you're right. I've heard the dialect of many women. And we can be, let me just tell you, man, if y'all think y'all cold on the play a game, I've heard the conversations and I've seen it happen firsthand. And women can be diabolical. But I will tell you, they laid down in the bed with some dogs that bit them. So some of you dogs got to go ahead and bark y'all bite. And take some responsibility to some of these creatures and women that you help create. Because as a woman that still loves you guys, I also saw a generation of women that never gave up on you guys, but then I saw y'all bell on her for a big booty. So I have to, we have to speak truths when it comes to that. I watch families be devoured by a fat booty or a side chick. We've watched, women stay with men for years and be told, "Oh, you the good girl because you was quiet and you put up with his stuff." That's what women do. I think that we really need to make sure that we have the open dialect on both sides.
Wow.
And Martin, I put information out there. Good free information. They call me crazy. I tell them, you want to build your credit up? You got a Stars account? Do you got Netflix? Do you got a pay-as-you-go phone? Oh, you do? Hey, well, get you that free experience. Pay that for 3 months and put it in Boots. And then upload that into that from your debit card that you get from that bank. And watch what happened to your credit score. It's a whole lot of little stuff you can do, Martin. Little bitty stuff. There's people, they could be getting credit buffs on stuff that they utilize every day. Don't even know it. Live streaming on StreamYard. paying for that subscription monthly. They've been paying every month on time because it's an auto payment. I try to tell people this stuff, pass on that good information. No,
Well,
but
how do we
everybody
get
want
back
to
on the topic
be
of
on
making sure we
whatever
hold
else.
black men accountable, Sarge?
See, there we go. See, Martin, didn't I just say that?
Hold on, Sarge.
I'm giving good information.
Sarge,
Off the
I'm giving
topic, though,
positive
Sarge.
information that will help somebody.
Sarge,
And now it's
Sarge.
got
That's
to
not
go
the
all the way the
topic,
other
Sarge.
direction. See,
Sarge.
that's the reason I don't
Sarge.
say nothing.
Sarge.
Oh, on the topic. On the
Sarge.
topic.
Yes, sir.
Sarge. She's a guest, and she's.
I can speak on the topic, and the topic is black folks need to stop doggone opening their arms to all these other black folks that's not foundational black Americans like they do. That's the reason black America is so far behind.
Sarge.
It could be somebody from the Caribbean, South
Sarge.
America, Africa, all that. Oh, they us. No,
Hold
they
it,
ain't
Sarge.
us.
Hold it, Sarge. Go ahead, Miss D. Talk. Go ahead.
Sarge,
Please.
so we would love, all of the great advice that we giving on credit. We could probably focus that day and kind of give you the platform so you could give all that great information. I actually create black homeowners.
Okay, well, what's better than giving it to somebody right now? Why you got to wait?
I think I went out my mom called. Today we're
okay.
just talking about just healing in dialect with black, men and women. And it's not to negate what you're saying or to be rude, but to say, see there, that means you weren't listening to start to what the topic was, and then you got on and you said some things that were not necessarily nice of women. And this is a platform today specifically where it's no hate for black men or black women, but I will respectfully ask if you can stay on topic for what we are talking about today, just because it's about us healing and making sure we stay on track with that, sir. Because I love the information that you're given, but it's off topic to what we're talking about specifically today, and that's pretty much what we're trying to say.
If you could, young lady, if you could give me exactly what the topic is, because I came in after the show started. So give me exactly what the topic is. I'm waiting.
Okay, she having phone trouble. Hold on.
I'm waiting, Martin. I want to know exactly what exactly was the topic before I came here.
Sorry.
Because I'm off topic, evidently.
Yeah, partner.
Hey, come on, talk.
I can't say nothing.
No, just come and talk to us, Vera. Just.
Somebody tell me what the topic is. Exactly.
Sarge, it was talking about
dialogue. I'm listening. I want to know.
Listen, Sarge, you've been on here for the longest, and me to tell me you don't know what the topic is. And
I don't have a clue, Martin.
Well, why would you comment if you don't know what the topic is?
Because I commented on the portion that I heard when I called into the show when you said men are welcome to call.
Right.
That was a good 40 minutes after you started your show, Martin.
Right. But every time you
I've only been on this phone call right now 45 minutes and 50 seconds according to my phone. How long has the show been on? I'm a numbers guy. I'm going to show receipts.
Okay.
What'd you say? Tell the truth, shame the devil?
Yes. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, Sarge. I'm going to bring Miss D
Sarge,
back.
You give us something to laugh at, and you always on point. So we're going to always give you your flowers. But the sister...
Well, I tried, but...
Yes.
If I'm not on topic, let me know where I missed. Let me know where I messed up. That's all I want to know.
Sarge. The sister told you was off target. You know what I'm saying? Off topic. And she tried to tell you
what is the topic?
Right.
And she didn't give me an answer.
No, her phone she went off live. She was having phone trouble. She's back now. Miss D, can you hear me?
Okay. All right. Well, evidently somebody else must know what the topic is, because I'm one of the last people on here.
And Mr. Sarge, your energy is a little abrasive. I'm here. I'm all love. I haven't raised my voice at you yet. I've been very patient with you, and I'm going to continue to be.
I'm a military man.
Sarge,
that's just how
let
we
her talk. Sarge, don't overtalk her, please. Let her talk. Go ahead.
So this is just about me and you. What we doing now? This is an example of what this conversation is. Us being able to respect the floor for one another, but stay on topic of Black healing and Black love. Today was about Black love, Black healing, Black accountability for Black women, and Black responsibility for Black men. All of those things that you talk about, those are true to our nature on things that we need to build. And those are the conversations I said that men need to probably take place more with other men, will hold the men accountable, because that's not my place to do to you guys. So all of this conversation, I've respected my place in it, even when you have said some testy things. But I just like for us to stay on the topic of healing and stay directly on that. It's not to mute you or anybody. And for those who think that that's what I was doing, that's never what I did. I'm just trying to stay on topic, because far too many times do we start somewhere and we end up somewhere else. So I will allow him to say whatever it is that he's wanted to say, and I've allowed that. But if it's off topic, I have a right to make sure that I pull him back in respectfully, and that's exactly what I continue to do with him.
And on that note, we have another man, 6112 calling. Go ahead, caller. 6112.
Hey, Martin, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Doc? Go ahead.
It's Rev. I ain't called in a while, and I kind of like. I said it's Rev. I ain't called in a while, and I'm loving this conversation. Well, for what the young lady is speaking, she's speaking some real stuff. So I kind of wanted to chime in on what she's saying, because talking about Black healing and things like that, and things. Is she asking what it is that we can do? Like, what's the question that she's asking?
Okay,
you know, just like I got on and talked about my experiences on some of the things, like where do we start? Like, what do you suggest? Like, what's the next part of this dialect? Okay, we put it out there that we're both mad at each other, both sides have done wrong. How do we move forward in this plight to build and stop being angry at one another?
You know, one of the things that I've been engaging in, definitely this year, but sometime starting in November last year, was really encountering individuals, everyday individuals. Sometimes the individuals come to me because they know me. Sometimes they introduce to me their youth, their elders, all type of people. And what I do is I address, all type of things pop up. The word of God pops up. Any kind of conversation pops up. But I always use that time as a teaching moment to tell about myself, but also the things that I'm doing. I think conversation is just, and just doing that can encourage those that is out there wanting to try. We're dealing with we're dealing with a lot out here. So what I do is day by day, I wake up, whether I'm using my business, whether I'm using ministry, whatever it is, I'm taking a young man by his hand, showing him the ropes of some skills. And one man is not an island of its own. So I think even with Brother Johnson and other leaders in the Chicago community, if we could somehow, network ourselves together and put things together that we can draw these people out, address these people, bring about more resources. There's resources in a certain area in Inglewood where most people don't even know about. We're talking about resources of housing. We're talking about resources of all type of things of helping young men with their credit, young women with their credit, anybody with their credit. Also, people that's inside these organizations that have ways of helping people to get their first home. One of the things that I noticed about, and I was talking to Brother McKenzie today, because I do pest control, for instance. So me and Charles McKenzie is in the same building, and we deal with a dilemma where the owner of the building, he is who he is, and it's like you got 19 organizations in one building that's doing everything the same in different platforms of helping the community. But for some reason, we can't get our word out there. And then when we try to do extra things inside the building to allow people to be drawn in the building, we got to pay for every single thing out of our pocket now. We deal with that on another level. But I've been talking to him and how we can take the things that we have in here and really put it out there. Like, he got a lot of kids. So I was wanting to teach them some skills and what I do. And it's just like starting right there, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm getting tired of hearing what we're dealing with. every day, and we talk more and more about what we're dealing with rather than finding solutions and doing things hands-on, boots on the ground to do it. So I think that's the first part of healing us. Is if we're leaders, let's really stand up as leaders and use our everyday life, you know what I'm saying, to interact with those that in need, you know what I'm saying, whether it's a job, whether it's anything. So I think that's a part of it too. Just really stop talking about it and really every day of your life waking up. I mean, if it's giving somebody $1, if it's whatever, just doing it every single day. But also leaders networking with each other. We can't be like, you know, these other so-called leaders that's receiving the money and not giving it back into the community. And I'm not talking about putting the money in the community. When I'm talking about money can buy resources, money can buy solutions to problems for a community if you use the money right. And, you know, it's kind of hard to knock these people out the box that's greedy, that's not caring for their people. But if we produce a platform of our own where we can network and really help these people, I think it'll work.
Okay. Ms. D?
I am so grateful for that for you, brother. That just enlightened me just to hear somebody sounds like you mid-30s or younger. What I will say is that what you're telling people is to wake up with a purpose every day, Black men. And Black women, we can support with that. But when we run into Black men, we never know what they're going through in that day. Maybe saying some uplifting and encouraging words. I found myself about to be called the B word the other day, and I called him a king, and he hugged me. I think that far too times we don't know what love is or what the experience communities that we lash out. But I just heard this brother sound very proud and waking up, being able to be of purpose in this world, and give himself to the world. So kudos to you and other young Black men that are like you. Know that you are loved, appreciated, and there are Black sisters like myself that are here to help uplift you to the next level and educate you on all the experiences and doors that were open to us. And you're right. We should be meeting together on a greater level to share in resources. And maybe Martin's platform is a way that we can utilize to do that.
Definitely.
Definitely. I want to say too, it's a great discussion too. You know, oftentimes we do get off the subject, but we got to reel it back in. But it was a great discussion there. We're not done. Looking for more men to call in. Call in number 872-299-0808 or 872-297-6389. And before someone talk, I want to hear from Old Timer again. Old Timer, talk to us. I just gave him a name, y'all. Old Timer. That's not his name, but I just gave him his name.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm outside messing with the snow. Okay. But let me get up in the car.
Okay, get on.
Let me get up in the car. Yeah, so the sister was right.
What's the Old Timer?
She's right about the mama, you know, covering for the son. And what the son most of the time can run to their mother and get themselves what they need for themselves instead of being a man and taking on the responsibility that they might have to work 2 jobs. A bunch of men also like to run around with a bunch of hard legs all the time. They're always with their partner. They're with their partner all the time. But
tell the truth.
You always running with him. You need to be trying to find out what you need to do to get your family and make a family life. But every time you look around, 4 or 5 boys always riding in the car together. This is an everyday thing, and they don't see nothing wrong with it. And they don't like these kind of conversations. They want the conversations to say what they want the conversation to say. They don't want to hear these hard truths, man, because hard truths has got to be, once you get past 18, basically, you really required to make a living for yourself at that point, if you're not going to college or going to the military. At that point, there is no, you might be getting $3 from somebody. See, but they're going to tell you, they say, when you going to start working? Well, I'm looking for a job. So you not working yet? Well, ain't nobody call me. you're gonna be faced with these things at the same time. They piling up babies, and the mama telling them, you know what the mama telling the boys nowadays? Don't let these girls trap you, because they'll trap you out there and tell you that you the baby father and all this kind of stuff, and you ain't got to get married.
Don't you say that? They gonna come for you out here. Don't you say that?
Go ahead, old timer.
That's the way it is. That's the way it is. They're gonna come and they're gonna cover for their son, and their son is gonna think, you know, that mama, she told me this, you know, and now she gonna tell me I'm the father. Well, you went over there and laid down with her. You know that during the time when you laid down with her, that around about this time, well, you know, things start to change. So I'm saying the men gonna have to be responsible. Now, I'm gonna say this again about that credit thing. My brother was doing the concession stand at Northwestern University, and everything they did, the money they made for the stadium, they got half of it. And that man told me, not one. When he said not one, he meant what he said. Not one Caucasian person slid their credit card through and it came up declined. Every one of them that came and got their bill, their peanuts, their hot dog, they slid their card through, it came up good. Now I'm trying to tell you. Now somebody say, well, you know, you trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. I'm just trying to tell you where you need to be at. And that's where we need to be. And our young men got to learn how to take the bull by the horn. They got to know how to fill out the paperwork. You can't leave this for no lady to do. If you let your wife out at the curb to go into the hotel, well, you can't tell her to go in there and take care of the business. No, you go to the front desk and take care of it. You got to know how to do all these things, man, in order for to operate in this world. Our young men can't come out, well, you know, they come out the paperwork messed up. Well, you straighten it out. I'm telling you, there is no more wiggle room for us right now. It's either now you're going to have to move forward, or you just going to have to kind of like stay in the stagnant spot. And when you get too many grown people in the house, somebody got to move out. And see, I can't tell my son has to move out. If he want to come in the house after 10 o'clock, well, I don't know who's coming in the house after I laid down. I don't know who it is. Because at 10 o'clock, that's going to transfer into 12 o'clock. That's going to transfer into 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know who's coming in the house. So the best thing for you to do is get your own place. Well, I ain't got no money to get my own place. It's a lot of problems. It's a whole big old ball of wax, and there is no escape from it.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yes.
That is for me. That's kind of I want to agree to disagree. I have a 17-year-old son. Before he moved back home, I had him here with me, living with me, and I heard you say that after your son gets a certain age, you can't get the job, whatever, two people can't live in the household. I wouldn't put my son, I'm a father, and I wouldn't put my son out in the streets. Now, back in the day, to me, it was a different story. The world was different. But today, for me, I can speak for myself, is first of all, I'm not going to have to worry about my son out there in the streets doing nothing with no type of standards, boundaries, and anything that was educated in it, because I know me as a father and as a man what I do. And I know we're speaking about how men should stand up. But one thing I want to encourage everybody on this line to understand is that even though we are our ages in our generation, we still have a generation behind us that we still can give. What I mean by that is that we can still go out there and tell someone else kid, hey, this is the right way to do it. All kids are not out there saying, well, you're not my mama, you're not my daddy, and you can't tell me what to do. Some kids are out there looking for role models that just don't have nobody that's grabbing their hand and show them the ropes to life. And I believe that if we can sit up there and do that instead of just, being on here talking and hearing all the problems that we have, and just go out there and do it, it'll work, because you have a generation of children that you can still give these sound teachings to. And the way I feel like we talk as if there's no hope. Now we know that it's messed up, but at the same time, we are not doing what we need. Like I say, every day I go out this door of my home, I try to I meet somebody. Whatever. I don't even go looking for them, but they come to me, and people always, hey, can I get a job? I may not have all the jobs, but at the same time, I get their number and say, when I call, you know what I'm saying, hey, just come and work with me. And at the same time, now I'm teaching them skills. They're young men, they're kids, or whatever. So I just don't like the fact that we're hearing things like, okay, we tell a young man, you know what I'm saying, well, you can't live. No, you can live in the house. And I feel that it's right if they're obeying your rules, but it should never be a problem that if somebody's living in your house and you're a man, that they're not obeying your rules. It's either something that you're doing wrong by how you address the issues to them, therefore they can't respect what you're saying, or, you know what I'm saying, you're not trying to address issues to them all anyway. You just caring about we care about ourselves and not caring about these kids. So I don't agree with, okay, every kid in life today should be kicked out the house, or every young man should be kicked out the house because they ain't got no job. Some young men don't want to work for nobody.
But George, that's not what I said, though.
Hold on. Some young men want to be taught how to be entrepreneurs. And there's nothing wrong with a young man saying, hey, I don't want to work for nobody, no 8-hour job, and don't get paid enough. I want to be paid my work. But if my son come to me and tell me, well, Dad, I don't want to work, I'm not going to say, oh, all right, what you want to do? Well, I want to be, I want to, all right, let's go with the get your business credit, your credit. It's things that you could teach. The same thing, if you're doing it, you're going to teach it to those that you influence over. So that's what I want to say about that.
Okay, go ahead, old timer.
But that's not what I was saying, Brother George, was this. What I was saying that when you get a certain age, they're going to soon realize it's not going to be as free as it was before. When they was in high school, they can come to you and get $100. That ain't no problem. But after they graduate, the time is going to start to change, where if you're not going to college and you're not going to the military, you start to get questioned on what your next move is. That's what I was saying. So the money...
I understand, but what I'm saying...
The 12 years, what I'm saying is the 12 years that you was educated is going to have to start meaning something. You can't act like you're 13. I'm on mute.
I have a nephew that's 17 years old. I'm a student, you know what I'm saying, own vehicle. Now, he still live with his mother, but he's figuring out his life, and he's doing it the right way. Own vehicle. He don't have a job, but he works with me every day. Every time I say, hey, nephew, let's go and let's make this money, he up and he's doing it. So what I'm saying is that there's young people out here that do have that attitude that you're talking about, the attitude of not wanting to do nothing. But those come from households that ain't taught them nothing. And then you got some kids out here, by the grace of God, that has been, even if they grew up in the right household, they grew up under some type of wisdom of mentorship, whether through a mother and a father, and they picked up all these things and they applied it to their lives, whether it was through school. If the parent told them that, hey, I want good grades, they give good grades. If the parents say, I want you to get the scholarship, they do that. You know what I'm saying? They get college things, letters to go to college. And some of them don't even want to go to college because they know that system. They don't want to get caught up like that. So I'm going to say, when I finish high school, I'm going to start my own business. Everybody for the last 12 years has not been taught that you don't do nothing in life. You got kids, and I want y'all to know and see that you got kids out here that's really doing something that's going to sit up there and prosper them in years to come when they finish high school. So I kind of think that we need to change the narrative on every kid. It ain't every kid. It ain't every black kid.
Reb,
some black kids out there.
I want to say this. At what point in time when we dealing with our young males, and I agree we shouldn't throw nobody out at 18, but as old timers said, when are they going to start exercising the 12th grade education that they have? Now, if you're not going to school or military, what is your plan? Now, you can't be at home on video games. I'm just chilling. I'm going to cool out. That's If we got to prepare men. And like you said, every man don't have to go to college or probably don't want to go to trade. You want to be an entrepreneur, but you have to have a plan. It got to be within reason. You just can't. I was taught you plan your work and work your plan. You got to work your plan. Now we have young men right now that want to be drill rappers. They don't want to work. They want to go. They don't want to do nothing else but stay in mama basement and rap and write songs all the time and do music and threaten people. That's not a good look. That's not a guarantee that they're going to be successful. And we know from the music, still on the subject, it can cause some type of bodily harm or even death to the person. So we have to involve our young people. We have to prepare them, not only for be young men, but be future husbands, man. Have to, because we got so many men out here that's not able to provide, and we use that old cripple, the system. Now, we know the system is designed to keep us back, but there are some, if you work a little harder and be a little savvy, you can make it in this system. You can make it in this system. Now, all the doors are not closed. It may soon be, but at what point of time in this young person's life that we're raising, bringing up, that they have to take accountability for what they have learned. Now, the brother said, now, I want you in my house at 10 o'clock. And if you can't come in at 10, you're going to have to find somewhere else to go. Not saying that you put them, but you giving them an option. Listen, I'm getting up. I'm the breadwinner in this house. I'm working hard, and I can't get up 1, 2, you coming in and disturb me, and I got to get up 4 o'clock in the morning and make a noise. Now you want to go in the kitchen and cook and put something in the microwave. That's not going to happen. That's a man talking. I understand what old timers saying, and I understand exactly what you were saying too as well. But there are some rules that our young men that we're bringing up, they have to abide by. When you play on the basketball court, there's some rules that you have to go. When you play football, there are rules. When you attend a school, there are rules. When you go into a grocery store, there are rules. So his rules are everywhere you go. Even in your own home, there are rules. We have to teach them. You have to follow the rules when you're in different situations. You have to do that. And that's all what I'm saying. Now, I understand throwing them out when they're 18. No, I said no. But listen, if you 18 years old and you living in my house and you stand up to me like a man and act like you want to ball your fist and whoop me, you got to go, period. Because, see, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to go to jail, so I know that. So all that slick talking, back talking, I'm not going to stand for it. And if you're grown, I need you to show me that you're grown. I'm going to show you the world. This is the world, this whole big out world, and I guarantee you, some of us, even right now today, we wish we can go back home. And some of us can't. We can't. Because we went out here and faced this big old world. We thought it was easy. We thought it was just, we could do whatever we want and say whatever we want. But it's not like that. When ComEd called for that bill, go ahead, Rep.
I totally that you asked at what I believe at the time me as a parent, I can't lack parenthood the first 10 or 12 years of my life and then expect the kid to do exactly what I think that a kid should do or as a teenage years or as they growing up after I done lack. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens in a lot of these households. A lot of these households, a lot in our society today, you have children born into this world straight into the system. You have children born into this world that don't have their parents that birthed them to this world, but got grandparents. So you got a lot of issues like that. Those kids, I said, if we can go out and be that adopted village. But then you got children that I believe that's born inside your household, that's your children. If you adopt that parenthood, if you don't get lazy, don't lack the first 10 or 12 years of this young boy and this young girl's life, you're giving them a better chance because they know what you expected. And there used to be a time where we'll sit around and we'll hear children say, well, my mama don't play that. I can't come home with no bad grade. You know what I'm saying? My daddy don't play that. You know what I'm saying? if you teach the kids to come in the house before the lights come on, they ain't gonna be you ain't gonna have to worry about them sitting up there and want to come in your house when they get ready to come in your house late at night. They have no reason to be out there party all night and don't work at all in the day. Because in the parenthood of raising them up, you taught them boundary standards. You taught them how to be civil in life. And 9 out of 10, you put a percentage on it, most of the kids that's growing up in certain households or a lot of households are not teaching that. So now they give a certain age and they understand how hard life is. Because just because they steal a child, you got a lot of children out here, ain't nobody gonna give them nothing. No. They already knowing before they 18, even if they ain't got no bills, they know they can't get nothing. They know they gotta work to eat. Some of them can't get no food, no money in their pocket. So that's all because they wasn't taught. But just imagine if parents don't lack the first 10 to 12 years.
Reb DeBar, let me say this. That's why we're having the problem that we're having right now. Nobody want to commit to nothing. Now, let me just say this, and it's still on topic, to any woman out there. If you meet a man that have never finished high school or got a GED or never stayed on a job more than 2 or 3 years, that goes to show you only commitment that he have ever made in his life is probably finishing 8th grade. You better run. You better run. Now, if that. Listen, what Reb is talking about, if these young men that don't get it young and this discipline, they won't be great husbands at all. That's why they go to this girl and that girl and this girl and that girl. The average young man, probably, if you sit down and have a conversation with an average young man, I'm talking about 16, 17, 18, they think being a man is telling a woman what to do. That's all they think. They think that. Seriously. A lot of them, they don't know what a real man is. I'm going to tell you, people, I didn't become a man until I was like 27. I could really get myself to 27. I bounced around and all that. But when I became 27, it was something about me that it was a change that came over me. It was a change. I got mature. I got all that other stuff up out of me. Everything about me. Then I started looking at as life. Somebody put your phone on mute. I started looking at life as different. I started seeing it in another lens, if I may say that. So when we parents, especially mothers, when we have young men that's defiant and we're not doing a good job raising them, we creating a monster. That's what we're doing. Yep. We're creating a monster. That's what we're doing. And that's why we got all these different young men. Now it's 10, 11 years old, they carjacking. Nowhere in the world, a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, even a 12, 13, 14, 15 shouldn't even be out there carjacking. You don't even know how to drive. Period. No longer out there having sex. And that's what I had to say, Reb. So that's the problem we having. The sister said earlier, Miss D said, breaking these generational curses. Because, listen, young men and old timers said it. They're out there having sex, and you can have a baby at 12, 13, 14 if you have a baby, get a girl pregnant. Now your mama know you've been with this girl having sex. Now she's saying that ain't none of your baby. That girl's a 3 or 4. Now the mama, they go to mama shielding them right now. Shielding them from responsibility. And that's not good.
Let me ask this question. Would it be different and would it be a problem if 90% of the young people in Chicago had successful careers at the age of 14, 15, 16 and start having babies? Because it sounds like that we're saying if you can't take care of your kids, don't have them. But we know that back in the day, young women, young boys back in the South, they used to become men at the age of 12 when the father was hung or slain or whatever, or the father left the household. Then the young man had to go out there and learn how to find the logs and everything to bring it back to burn a barn. And young women and fathers, they'll come together. They got 18 kids, but she started having them kids at 14, 15 years old, but at the same time, these kids became successful in life.
Okay.
So are we saying that they should be successful with a parent household that know how to
let me say this. Let me say this. Sex is for a male and a female married people. That's what it's originally for. It's for to make a baby, be fruitful and multiply. It's not a game. Bringing life in here is not a game. It's not a game. Now, back in them days, they was getting married at 14 and 15 with the permission of their parents, which is correct. They're going to work. Some of them going to work. But right now, trust me, these young men, they are shielded by their mothers. Their mothers will shield them from responsibility, period. That's all I'm saying, Reb. I understand. Now, I'm not mad at no.
Okay, I feel
Okay,
that.
yeah, I'm not mad at it. Listen, when I was 13, 14, I was shoveling snow. I was carrying groceries. Somebody put their phone on mute. I was carrying groceries. You know, I would do stuff, shoveling snow, or just doing a little yard work, whatever I could do, just make a few dollars, getting bottles, whatever I can do. I learned that from a young age. It was 6 of us, and we didn't have everything. So we had to go out there and do some things and get some little extra money.
Who taught you to do that, Mark? Who taught you to go out there and use that type of lifestyle instead of the wrong lifestyle to earn your income at that age?
Watching my older brothers and stuff, we wanted extra money. We liked the candy. And, we ain't never had the latest gym shoes. You have some household, even though we 2 parents, we didn't have the latest clothes and all that. We would have to wait. Okay, this time your brother finna get some shoes. And next check come, you get the shoes. So, it was always like that. I could only, it was rough. So I had to do what I had to do. And I wasn't into a life of crime at that time. So we listen.
But it sound like, and I think you said that you had older role models, right? You had older brothers who wasn't living the life of crime, obviously went out there and earned their way of living, and you watched them earn. You know what I'm saying? You learn, like, okay, that's the way you do it. But if they went out there and they stood on the corner and sold drugs, you'd be like, oh man, that's the way they do it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's the way that we grew up. Like, I grew up in the neighborhood compared to you growing up in the neighborhood. It was me watching them stand on the corner, trying to recruit you to the game. They riding on the rims. They riding on all this stuff at my age. Lil Wayne on there talking about Hot Boys, bling, bling. And things like that. That's the generation that I grew up, and I had to somehow divert because I seen it both ways. I seen my granddad go to work. I seen my father an entrepreneur, but I had a choice to make. Say, okay, what my father and my granddad doing is better than what they doing. Less risk. But because it was fun, I decided to take the risk until I sit up there and trained up the way that I should go. Turn back like, man, I'm tired of getting in trouble. See, we dealing in a generation of kids that was taught that, hey, this is the way you really do it, when the way that they was taught that you really do it the wrong way compared to how you grew up and say, well, the way you do it, man, you get a job, you go over there, you pump some gas, you go over there, you carry some groceries, you be the milk boy, you know what I'm saying? That's the way, you know what I'm saying? Or you go to the military if you were drafted, you know what I'm saying? So it's different.
Yeah,
and different. Somewhere down the line, the generation of those that was teaching us the right way to make an honest living, they didn't die off. Somehow it has been a veil put up, and a blockage was put up.
But also, you said a key word, Rev. You said that you had an opportunity to see 2 sides, and you made a choice. So this what this what you speak to. This is your situation. There are some kids that are blessed out here. I watch parents do $16,000 on prom last year. I watch parents find the resources to put our kids in these prom outfits. But guess what? I did not see those parents do. Make those kids get A and B's grades, and none of them went to college. So when we talk about being full on as parents in those first and pertinent years, I think that goes back to what you said yourself, Rev, which is accountability on the parent side, both men and women. So either women are going to decide that my child deserves a better life and better examples to put in front of them. So I'm going to put them in programs so that they can see men of images of that order. That's taking accountability in parenthood, right? So also on the men's side, that is being more accountable to these kids because we give them too many options. We have too many parents that get on here and make excuses for privileged kids who have not worked a day in their life to earn anything that they request. And that is a reality of what we are dealing with. We have what somebody says they spoil. Yes, to a certain extent, and that falls on the parenting because of them being afraid to tell their kids no, and also aligning with being their friends, keep being their kids' friends before they are a parent. I was one that did not get put out at 18. My parents let me stay there. But guess what? Because they had rules, by the time I was 19, 20, I'm like, oh man, I still got to give her some money every month on a light bill. Wait a minute. I can't come to her every week like I used to in high school and get this for free. It made me align myself. It made me realize that responsibility was coming my way as an adult because my parents still held me accountable under their roof. I got used to rules. I got used to the real world coming through their household. It's not to say that the kids should stay home with us is the issue. The issue becomes when they stay home, it becomes comfortability and there are no consequences, no consistency, no good habits, and no good choices that our children are beginning to make. That's when it becomes the issue of children staying at home.
That's real good. We got a new caller. They held on. Hold on, real 7365. I think go ahead, call. I know you've been holding for a long time. Again, this is a repeat caller. 7365 caller. Go ahead. Caller? I guess not. They just listen. Okay. Well, let me just say this, and I understand everything that I like this open dialogue, and as parents, we have to step our game up.
Mark, it's Steve.
Oh, go ahead, Steve. Stop hollering. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
Sorry, my Bluetooth was acting up. Yeah, I agree with these previous, couple of callers that are currently on here. Yeah, I'm going through the same thing. I'm 41 years, about to be 41 years old, and I have been mentoring, this young man, but he's probably be no longer a black young man. He's about to be in 30s.
Yeah, take it off your Bluetooth.
He's coming from the hard life. He was one of those young men that's a male role model. He never had a strong male role model or man trained anything. Yes, he was raised, by a single mom. I guess she did the best she can, but she wasn't done very best. She spoiled him. As me being this dude for about a year, challenge. He was locked up during the time, for 5 months. Run away from the police, and I'm I was the main one that helped out. Put money on his books and stuff like that. Family support and anything. He comes at me telling me that his family talked down at him and it's killing his mentally, but a positive out of to teach him to get in the right direction. It is a challenge, and yes, I've been frustrated mentoring him, because he was already on this rap stuff, he wants to be a drill rapper and this and that, this negative stuff. I'm trying to help him. I'm not really trying to help him to come off of that, but trying to help him, get him in the right direction. He's in his 30s. So I know how to be becoming independent because there's no one. I don't know if his mother taught him how to be independent. She just spoiled him. She turned around, kicked him out. She just kicked him out like to go get a job, anything like that. She threw his stuff. She destroyed his laptop. Okay. Staying with me. He's homeless, and I don't want him to see him on the streets or anything. But it's been frustrating to me helping out because he don't want to follow my rule.
Steve, let me ask you a question. He's 30 years old, and you're his mentor. Have you and him sat down and asked him what is it that he wants to do? Have you asked him that? Where do you see himself in the next 5 years? So I don't what's going to happen is I don't want you to be burdened like you owe this 30-year-old man something. And appreciate your diligence for helping this young man and all that, but he has to want something, Steve. You know, he has to want it. You just can't. You can. One thing about truth, you can't pry it down people's mouth. They have to want it. They have to want change. Now, he's the way from this little bit of conversation that you described him, he's carrying on like he's 18 years old, 18 and 19. No responsibility, no accountability, or nothing. And Lord knows, I hope he ain't got no babies out
He's
there.
a 28-year-old still acting like a teenager.
That's what I'm talking about. Women, you better run from men like this. You get a baby by a man like that, you in trouble.
Well, some of them raising them, Martin, so we got to take some accountability too, because we were the ones perpetuating the type of young men that end up like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got to take some accountability. I can't speak for you guys. You guys are holding the men accountable. But he said it's a mama that raised him. Key word. You know, we have to be able to allow faults to happen to our young boys. Too many times, mothers don't want their young boys to have that cut on the knee when he need to experience that pain so that he can understand life a little bit better. You know, it's hard out here for a woman, you know, a young lady looking for someone that can lead the household when we stuck with a bunch of the examples of what this man just described. It's a lot more than what he said, and they're a lot older. They don't just stop at 30. They go all the way up to 50. Imagine that. They go all the way up to 50, and sometimes older. It's just 50 is the oldest I've dated. And that's been an experience of mine. The mindset of a lot of men is just different from what I saw my fathers and other generations. And let me say this. It's some men in this generation that are solid. So this is not for all men. There's some men out there that are some solid, dope brothers, and I love y'all. Like, and I love all of us. But for the ones that are really out there doing it, you're the reason I won't disrespect y'all, because I know y'all men exist. You guys are the reason that I continue to say black men are gods, because I know you guys exist. You guys are the reason that I know that there's still a chance for us to re-evolve our men, because you guys still exist. So it gives me some hope that we have people call in from over and wherever they're from that have this perspective, just as a young lady, that there are some dads that are still, you know, in their sons' lives to build them to be great men for us as women, that even if I don't get my chance in this lifetime, that if God blesses me to be a mother, that my child gets to experience any of the great men that you guys describe on this call, because it's really hard out here. You know, it shied me away from being a mother and procreating, just because of the world and the way that it looks and the way that it exists, and the lack of love that black men have shown to women over the years that I've been able to just see firsthand. I've had plenty of my friends look me in my face and say, I never date a black woman because they don't want ish. They got attitudes, but then come to me. And mind you, I'm the black girl they come to for the safe space. So maybe my face not black enough. I don't know. But they would come to the same black face and say all these terrible things that they don't want to do with black women, while at the same time utilizing a black woman as their safe space to say all of these negative things about another black woman. Imagine the mental I have to come out of that conversation with enough love and generosity and grace in my heart to still love black men.
You're an amazing sister. You're a good one. Go ahead, Steve. I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead. You can finish off. Steve, South Hollins.
Yes, I agree with that. Problem is to me that he did not finish high school at all. So what really his background is, and he even told me that homeless when he was 11 years old, he slept in the trains and stuff like that. I don't know. Say he's been talked down, you know, by his own family, or has no much of family support. It does frustrate me. I really don't want nobody to stay with me, but I don't want this young brother to be on the streets, though. It just gets frustrating me because, to answer your question, Martin, you say he wants to continue this rap career, but he's not sending this rap career in a positive level. He did say at first that he wants to cut hair, you know, he wants to become a barber, and then he told me that he does not want to work no 9-to-5 job and you get lousy money and stuff like that. You know, he's just one of these youngsters, you know, this fast life path. I wasn't comfortable at first, you know.
Do we live in the city of Chicago? Do we live on the south side?
from South. He's originally from Dalton. Yeah, he used to live all over. He's been living from, growing up. Yeah, North Aurora. He lived in Inglewood. Now he's currently in Cal City, but his mama threw him out, so now he's currently staying with me right just a temporary, but hopefully for not for longer, because I need space. It's starting to get a little frustrating to me. Yes, he's a heavy. Oh, he loves smoking weed and stuff like that.
So this is what I wanna be able to do. Because this is what it's about right here. We on here talking, and Brother Steve, you call in and you have a problem. You have a problem that's not your problem, but you with your heart, by the grace of God, done took on a project of fixing this problem. So what I would like to do is, because I'm a barber. So what I would like to do, I would like to send him directly to the source of, so I can get, I don't know about his financial aid. You say he ain't graduated high school, so that's a problem because you gotta have, oh my God, GED or a diploma or to do it. But they got GED for programs where at Kennedy King College, there's certain things, and like I say, these resources and the platforms that you must use, they don't take long for him to go through the GED program. He started now. Sometime next year, he'll have his GED.
He claims he does have GED.
Huh?
Yeah, but he does not take no time to try to look. He claims that he lost it. He couldn't find his GED. I keep trying to give him resources all around to get another copy of GED.
If he got a GED, he's already in the state system. As soon as Larry Barber College, we can send him down. He'll be qualified for financial aid if he goes to the college over there on the 104th in Michigan. That's a college that I went to. 1,500 hours graduated. Right after you do that, he choose to, he go right on in and get his license, depending on, what he want to do with it. And once he gets his license, he'll probably sometime be already in the barbershop. But I mean, I helped him through, if he decides to do this, because I cut free hair for kids. I could train them at the building, hey, and help them get through this comfortably. But there's ways, because you said he wanted to be a barber. Hey,
let me just
say
this.
Most rappers want a brand.
Let me say this, brother Steve. How's he financing his weed habit? That's another thing. Now listen, I know brothers smoke weed, people everyday people, but I mean, you don't have no job. Where are you getting this money at to buy some weed? That's another thing. While you at work, what is he doing? What is he doing while you at work? You got to ask yourself that. Is he using your house?
Now,
go ahead. Go ahead, brother Steve.
Now, for the past 3 weeks, he's currently working at a factory job at Riverdale right now, and I'm the one that helped him got him a job. I'm the one that got him a job from the temp service. Because if it wasn't for me, I have nowhere else to go. He probably don't have nowhere to turn to or what direction to turn to.
Okay.
He's been consistently working his job.
Right. Are you making him pay something, or you make sure that he's saving
his
job?
But he's been going through some troubles with transportation.
Well, the bus running
up early in the morning to drop him off at work.
You okay? All right, hold it right there, brother. Hold it right there. Let's see what this caller got to say.
You gotta take that weed money, use his Uber money.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, my dear sister?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm good. I've been listening to the conversation, very interesting. And one thing that I wanted to point out is I was a single mother at the age of 18. And what I found out is sometimes we as single mothers, we raise our boys, especially to be pimps. And I say that because we don't set them accountable or responsible for the things that they have to do. There was an expectation in my house that this is what you were going to do. Not because I want to use you to, clean my house or do this, but because it was expected. You're only special to God and your family. And I've always told my children, remember that. The world doesn't owe you anything. A lot of these young folk have a sense of entitlement. They feel like they're entitled to certain things that they didn't work for. And as parents, we always want our children to have better than we did and not to go through the struggles and the hardships that we were faced. But by doing that and sheltering them from that, this is what we create. Not all, but a lot of these young folk, disrespectful. They don't have any guidance. And they feel like they're entitled to something just because. And the first thing you hear them say, well, I didn't ask to be here. Well, look around. Nobody asked to be here. But it was with the expectation that when my children had allowances, and I did it just like this, you had certain chores that you had to do. You got an allowance. Because there may have been you want to go to the candy store, you want to go with your friends and hang out, things that I might not have wanted, that I felt like you wanted to do, but you wanted to do it. So when you had chores to do, and when you didn't do them, I deducted $1, and I told them consider it taxes. You know why? Because it's getting you ready for the real world. If you don't do, you do what you're supposed to do first, then you can do what you want to do later. It only works in that order. And my son is 30 and my daughter's 23 and I'm 48. And I had him at 18. But I always remembered that it's important to know who you are and whose you are. It's important to instill certain values in your children because the world is not just made up of us. It's not just made up of your block, your family, or your friends. It's a diverse world of people that come from backgrounds that some of us have experienced and some of us haven't. But the sense of entitlement is where I figure out a lot of these young people, well, I'm supposed to have this, or I'm supposed to, well, who told you that? I get up and I go to work for mine. You know, a lot of people laugh at me because people say, oh, do you have some spare change? Well, what is spare change? Because I don't have none of that. Now, if you're hungry, I'll feed you. If I see a need, I'll help you. And I always told my friends that had kids, I said, spend time with your children. Because if you don't, I guarantee you, the drug dealer, the state trooper, the parole officer have no problem with spending time with your child. You lead by example. It's not always been easy, and it never will be easy. But it takes work. And if we don't instill in them, because we do everything for our children, they have the false sense of entitlement that the world owes me something. Because, oh, my mother went and bought me, like the young lady was saying, spending all this money on prom. Where's that money for their education? Because either you're going to go to school or you're going to work. You're going to do one or the other. Because that's the way the world works.
Sister, you couldn't have said it no better. Listen, I agree with you. You could.
She got me over here like I want to send her some flowers tomorrow.
Go ahead, Miss D. It's your show, Miss D. Go ahead.
I'm grateful for you, sister, because far too many times I get attacked with that perspective, and I'm grateful for honest single mothers, because there are some amazing single mothers, and a few of them I call my friend. And they have the same moralistic value perspective of life on how they raise their kids. So I'm grateful to other sisters like you that's willing to call in and give that perspective from being a single mother. And we're grateful to mothers who raise great kids like you. I can hear it in your voice. I don't even want to try you, mama. Like, I'm going to have my ducks in a row.
The thing of it is I was pregnant at 18, okay? My mother told me, if you decide to have this kid, you can stay in this house, but you must finish school. Pregnancy is a condition, is not an illness. You cured in 9 months. Okay?
Ooh, say that again, ma'am. Say it again.
Say that again.
If you decide, pregnancy, it's a condition. It's not an illness. You're cured in 9 months. Now, what you do, and I put you on the road to success. Whichever way you take this road, that's your business. I'm going to set you on a path. If you decide to follow it or fall off, it's on you. I didn't have all the answers. I didn't know everything. But my mother made it very hard and very uncomfortable for me to be able to come and tell her I'm pregnant again. I graduated from CVS in 1993 at the top percent of my class, 6.5 months pregnant. I did better my senior year than I did the first 3 years. Why? Because the expectation is this is what you want to do, so this is the way we're going to do it. Yes. I always told my son, because my son got in trouble. He wasn't perfect, but I told him, I said, hold your head up and let me tell you something. The first time you get in trouble or make a mistake, it's a mistake, okay? Same thing my mom told me. The first time you had a child, okay, it was a mistake. I understand. The second and third time, that's a habit, and that's a real bad habit that you need to learn how to get rid of.
See, I can excuse some things. I didn't make excuses. I don't allow my children to make excuses. Tell me that you didn't do it, and let's move on from there. Don't give me an excuse as to why you didn't do it, because the excuse is not going to get it done. You finish the
Is that my
sentences of
mama?
your life. You never let somebody else, as an adult too, you never let somebody else finish the sentences of your life. I may have started out a statistic, but I have a master's degree now, and my children are just fine. But it comes with the understanding that I'm not owed anything. And if I want to be successful, and then if I want to move forward, I have to be able to want to finish my sentences of my life. I never let nobody finish my sentences. I do it. Because at the end of the day, if I didn't do something that I was supposed to do, or if I didn't do something that needed to be done, I can't blame nobody but me. I can't blame my mama for getting pregnant. I can't blame my mama for anything. She did the best that we can do. And sometimes we as parents take on too much because we're too busy trying to be your friend. I'm not your friend. We can be friends when you grown in your house and you taking care and running your house the way you see fit. Then we can be friends. But tread lightly.
Can you inbox me your address? I really want to send you your flowers in real life. This my mama. Without being you sound like my mama. And it feels so good to hear you say that. I am so serious, sister. I need you to inbox Martin your info so I can send you something special. I'm so grateful to hear you speak this on this platform. I'm so grateful you called in. I'm so glad that you get to be an example for single mothers.
And it's not, and I haven't always, let me tell you, I got married at 24 and I was married for 25, at 23 and 24. My husband and I, we got married. We're divorced. It is what it is. But the one thing I did understand is being a single parent, I did not want my son to walk outside or to date somebody. And that young lady sitting on the phone talking to her mother, her sister, her girlfriend, talking about his mama didn't raise him. He don't know how to do this. He know how to cook. He know how to clean. He know how to pay bills. He know how to do everything I know how to do. Why? Because you might not run into somebody that can take care of you. You're the best thing that's ever happened to you. Nothing else.
Tell the truth.
So if you don't look in the mirror and know who you are and whose you are, you'll get lost every time. And you can't blame nobody but yourself.
I love that, mama. I love you, mama. I love you.
Let me say this. Nowhere on the internet that you can have an open dialogue. I mean, people that call in, I don't know who they are. They may know me, but I don't know them. I don't know what they're going to say. It's not staged. Nowhere in the internet. I'm not saying they're not having these types of conversations, but I'm talking about open air conversations where you have to, because some people, some broadcast, they ask you what you're going to say. They have it all staged and mapped out. Here is live, uncut, and unedited.
Unedited.
That's it. I didn't know she was going to get on here and say that. And it was a great thing. Some parents need to hear that. We needed to hear what you said today, sister.
Yes.
We needed to hear that. And let me say something. I heard somebody in the comments say, well, you're not healed after 9 months. What she mean by that, the baby is here. It takes 36 to 40 weeks. Now you can move on. You know, that's what she meant. We understand that you go through a little complications.
I'm not talking about, right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm talking about in the physical realm. After 9 months, you are bringing forth something. So that what you did for the first 9 months, you don't have to do for the next 9 months, because now you're no longer with child. It's time to get the business together. This is something you brought forth. Now it's time to take care of the business. That's what I meant.
That's what I'm talking about. See that? It's amazing.
Your pregnancy don't go on for a lifetime.
Say it, sister. Say it.
It only goes on for a moment, and you can't let that be your excuse as to why you cannot get up, move forward, do what you need to do. You're not the first to have a baby, and you won't be the last. But now what you do after you bring forth the child is what matters, because they're cute when they're babies. We dress them up. We make them look cute. They cuddly. They everything we want them to be. But then they start walking. Then they start talking, and they get their own little identity. Now it's, I need a break. There ain't no breaks, honey. This is what you decided to do. That's why young folk having children ain't the best thing in the world, because you have yet to know who you are, let alone try to figure out who somebody else is. It's all fun and games until reality hits.
Mm-hmm.
And like my mother told me, it's too much out here. You don't have to be what you don't want to be.
Mm. Mm.
We just gonna bless her as the auntie for today, because I swear she done sealed the deal on, on, on me today. And my heart, I'm just over here like a fluttering butterfly, because it feels so beautiful intergenerationally just to hear that, because that means that we are being heard. And I love you, sister, just from my generation to yours, and understand that there are women out here who hear you, we see you, and we love
Mm-hmm.
you. And that's why we keep pushing the way that we do, to be the change that not just we
Mm-hmm.
need to see, but children like you who work hard for them to see good examples. That's why I stand 10 toes down to be the change for our future. I'm so grateful for you today
Mm-hmm.
in this call in.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just felt that's part of my testimony because, you know, I understand that my comments are not favorable, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't talk to please people. I don't try and preach. I'm not holier than thou. I've made mistakes. I got skeletons that sit down and look at me every day. Hello.
Mm-hmm. I think we all do.
But it doesn't mean that I'm not human. It doesn't mean that I understand the walk, because I've walked. You see, I can't talk about something that I didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
There are plenty of books to tell you how to be a parent. There are plenty of books to tell you how to be, you know, successful and this, that, and the other. But if you don't, everybody want to be rich. Didn't Kevin Hart say it, but nobody want to put the work in?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody expects all of these things, and you're not entitled to nothing but to breathe and live is the best you can every day. Nobody owes you anything. And until we instill in our children that entitlement, and you ain't special to nobody but God and your family, we can change the narrative that way. But giving them everything they want just because somebody else has it, or because we feel like they're entitled, no, ma'am. Because then you're raising a little brat that's going to tell you what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. I demanded respect from my friends, my son's friends, and they thought I was his sister. When you come in my house, you remove your hat and you speak. I don't care what you do in your house. If you're not respectful in my house, you're going to stand on the other side of the door. That's it, and that's all. There's no conversation.
Mm.
And I used to tell my son, I brought you in and I'll take you out.
It's old school teaching, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can call the police and I'll be waiting for him when they get here. Like I used to tell him when he got in high school and he would get in trouble. And I would go to discipline him. Well, you know, you can't talk to him this kind of way and you can't hit him. Then don't call me. You take him home with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm. This is old good.
It's a mindset. When you change your mind, you change your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have all the answers, but I done walked it for 48 years to know what should be and shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has their own parenting style, and that's fine. Like I said, my kids weren't no angels, but they don't walk around here expecting anything. Because again, when you got your allowance, you had certain things that you had to do. So every time I had to come and tell you you didn't wash the dishes, you didn't take the garbage out, you didn't clean the bathroom, I deducted $1. So if at the end of the week you only ended up with $5, well, consider it taxes. It's gone before you could see it.
Mm-hmm. You dropped the bomb.
Story to tell.
Yeah. You dropped the bomb. We're gonna end it with that. I'm gonna bring my sister D back in, and I'm gonna let her close us out. Did you say something on Stephen? Stephen, did you say anything?
Yeah, I just want to give y'all a little small story about.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
You're gonna be our last one, and we're gonna close it out. Go ahead, Stephen. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, I'll just give you a small story here. When I was like 13, when I was about 12, 13 years old, you know, I come from a 2-parent household. You know, my dad's was a trucker for 30 years, but you showed me to lead the way. You showed me the way. You know, if I'm getting tired of receiving, I gotten tired of receiving allowance, and I feel like I want more. So my dad showed me when I was almost 10 years old. I became a newspaper carrier, and this was like back in like 1995, 1996, and I started doing newspaper carrier. You know, I was a paper boy throughout my junior high and high school years. You know, and I felt like, I paid a lot of good money, just being a teenager, and it felt good. That's part of growing up, to become a man. So that's all I want to give y'all a story.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. D, I need you to close us out with your closing comments and all that. And thank you so much for coming on today. This is a wonderful, wonderful podcast today. Go ahead, Sister D. Go ahead, Sister. You there? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Good, batter, and can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes. Go ahead. We hear you. We hear you. We hear you. Loud and clear. Oh, I don't know what's wrong. Okay. All right. Close out. All right, people. Let me see. Okay. She back in. She gonna close us out. All right. Close us out.
Can you hear me better now? I'm sorry.
Yeah. You can close out because I know you got some things to do. Go ahead.
I gotta go. Look, I could tell y'all, I gotta go run my mama around the city because it seems like she just stopped driving at a certain age. But whatever, we'll have that talk about mamas later. But I love it. But no, I've enjoyed everybody. The intergenerational dialect. We need more of this. I love my people, good, bad, or indifferent, up, down, inside out. It's going to take us to save us and to continue to love and have grace for us. I'll always be Miss Blackity Black / Miss D. I love y'all from wherever you are. Let's keep this love going and let's try to be better to each other. We ain't going to be perfect and we might need to just push accountability a little bit more, but let's continue to love y'all. Let's continue to spread this energy in our community versus the other one. I love y'all. Peace, love, and black love more than anything.
All right, we're going to end it with that. And make sure you guys share the video. You already know what it is. Live, uncut, unedited. Tell the truth. And what? And shame the devil.
Shame the devil.
I love being